All right, hey guys, just getting ready for the Total War live stream. Creative Assembly is about to show off what's coming next for our upcoming Lords of the End Times DLC. Yeah, I just thought I'd do a watch along, basically because I want to see it myself, and yeah, I thought we could watch it together a little bit. So we got about 2 minutes till it starts. Screen set up. Head back in the Total War position. So yeah, this is pretty exciting. About to see some new content. From what I heard, I don't know. From what I heard previously, it was going to be not so much focusing on the actual DLC, but focusing more on the update that's coming alongside the DLC. But from what I hear more recently, it might be more stuff from the DLC that I thought. So yeah, we'll stay tuned, see what we see. Hey guys, you're welcome. Yeah, just I don't know. I kind of feel a bit weird about doing these watch-alongs because I feel like I don't really have that much to add. You know, it's just more of a social thing of just you know, sharing the experience with you guys, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll have stuff to talk about, but it's not like I'm hugely educated about it. Like I'm kind of in the dark as much as you guys almost. And but yeah, I mean, I like I said, like I want to watch it because I want to find out the new information as much as you guys do. And so yeah, so I know some of you guys like to. Well, obviously you guys are here, so some of you guys like to watch along with me. So I thought we may as well do a watch along. But yeah, apologies in advance if the content isn't as high quality as you know, you might hope. Yeah, I don't know, I guess I might be able to explain some things that I might sort of know a little bit more about, but yeah, it's, you know, basically we're just going to be watching it along, and I probably won't have too much to add apart from my excitement about the new stuff. But we'll see how we go. 12 seconds. 10, 9. Happy New Year. Hopefully the end times are coming. Oh yeah, the end times is definitely coming. We're about to see some of it. It says 0. Why is it? Here we go.
I guess we'll find out.
Hello. Hopefully.
Hello.
People can hear us and people can see us.
We can.
We've hit the end of the timer, so we've got to be live no matter what. Someone say if you can hear us. We can hear you and see you. Thank you very much.
Beautiful.
Welcome to Warhammer 3 What's Next Live. You guys have done a couple of What's Nexts.
Definitely one.
We did one. Or was
Yeah.
that a show and tell? I can't remember what they're called.
You did a show and tell. You've not. I don't think you've done a. We've not done a What's Next Live. So you've definitely not done.
Oh,
one
we
of
did
them
the
before.
What's Next videos with Steve.
Ah,
Yes.
I like doing it with Steve.
So we. Well, that's how we're starting the stream off. Before we begin, shall we introduce ourselves? I'm Josh, perpetually. Sean?
Sean, Associate Design Director.
Rich, game director.
Two faces I imagine most people watching this are pretty familiar with.
Yeah, fucking Chads. I love you guys.
So, we used to do What's Next videos. We may do What's Next videos in the future. But one thing we noticed about the What's Next videos is we were getting a lot of comments of people wanting there to be a bit more discussion, a bit more of a back and forth, and for us to maybe be able to spend more time to explain some of the things we show. So we're trying this out. It's a live format of a What's Next. So if you've seen the What's Next videos, we've got, I think, maybe a bit more content than a What's Next video. Because we've got videos, and I think they're mostly screenshots.
Yeah, what do you guys think about this new
We've got some
format?
videos,
Like, I know
we've got some
some people-
screenshots. We are going to start off with patch 8.1, but the patch 8.1 stuff is going to be very quick
okay.
because the focus of this really is
Yeah, some people like criticize this format because they want more prepared
reveal, which I'm
videos,
very
like
glad to see says redacted.
exciting
I didn't
promo
put the wrong
videos and
answer
stuff.
up.
There's other people like the more conversational live stream
Just
stuff.
to clarify then, so 8.1 we spoke about in the show and tell, and we spoke about the campaign AI prioritization that's going to be changing there. So I think it's more of a linear change in tasks. There are some like caveats that we'll have in the patch notes about where behavior isn't worse, just not as improved, and most of that is linked to customization of endgame crises. So if you're doing wacky things with your endgame crises, the AI may struggle with that. But overall, for a normal settings game, we're hoping to see some big improvements from AI kind of bobbling around. We didn't have a screenshot for that because it's very hard to get a screenshot of just AI over loads and loads of different tests. But the release date for 8.1 currently is next week.
Yeah,
So-
not long to wait.
No. So hopefully you guys will have your hands on it soon. We'll have patch notes detailing what the changes we made are, where you'll see the biggest changes.
Josh is
but
the
that
new
will be coming
legend
next
to the
week.
wall, yeah.
So look forward to that then.
He's the biggest streamer
Right.
now.
Shall we start talking about 9.0?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Ready? Whoa. 9.0's got a lot in it.
Yeah, we're busy.
We are. So 9.0, we are not today talking about, firstly, the Siege update that we're looking at, because that's 9.1. Right? And you're not seeing the 9.1 of that bottom bar. So there's no,
That's a 0.
we're not talking about that.
Okay, there
we're
you
not
go.
talking
No
about
siege
Neferata.
rework.
No. Well,
So-
not really.
Well, that's the most we'll say the name. It still
Right,
exists,
that's it.
still being worked on.
Yeah.
But I think the intent that we have for when we show Neferata is to show gameplay, right, rather than to talk over pictures or screenshots. So what we will be talking about, and what we're starting off with, is the only thing I mentioned, which is the end
Okay,
times.
so there's a Neferata
end
showcase
times
coming
structure
soon.
update, I think is what we're referring to it as. Do we want to dive right in with that?
All the big free update.
Well, yes. So 9.0, we're going to break down a few different parts of it. We will start by talking about end games, end times.
Yeah.
But then we've got a whole host of other topics we're just going to touch on. So keep along with us for the journey. We don't know how long we're going to spend on each topic. I'll see how much information I can. All right. So
End times.
starting off, shall we talk about end games?
Sure.
Are you ready for the chart?
If I said no, this would be annoying for your transition, wouldn't
It
it?
would be very annoying.
Let's go.
All right. So, end games.
Endgame.
No, no
changing.
siege rework.
Yes.
That's coming
As you
after
can see there,
what the
I've
end
got
times have
current
just
on the
said.
left, and I've got what we're planning on the right.
Yes.
Care to talk to us a little bit about what the current end game is like?
I will somewhat read off the screen
That's fine.
as we go through it. Yeah. So as it stands now, we've got they're called end game crises, but
Yeah.
I don't think they really satisfied what we wanted them to do, which is ultimately the problem. And as per the list, most of the time they just spawned a bunch of armies, and they didn't really change up the gameplay that we wanted to. We wanted it to be a big moment where, there is a threat, there is something that's coming in, not just like, here's 10 armies.
Yeah.
And obviously, 10 armies is a threat, but it's not necessarily interesting. It doesn't change the mechanics. So what we're looking to do now is when we hit these specific new end games, one is technically an evolution because Vermintide's already in the game, but we'll be having the new Vermintide. We've got the Chaos Invasion and Nagash turning up. There will be a foreshadowing moment of, by the way, it's this end game.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware who's going to come and ruin your day.
Yeah.
And then when the actual event starts, we will have a nice little moment of a cinematic as you come in and you go, oh no, who is the big bad?
Yep.
It'll come out and we will see what this is actually going to do to your campaign experience, where they have some bespoke mechanics, which we'll maybe see in a second.
Yep.
But
This
yeah,
is so good.
The big
This
thing
is what we needed for sure.
the old one also was
Well,
like
in-game
standard campaign AI. Everything was shared because it was quite a generic formula. When we made it, we thought this is a great idea. It'll be like quite templateable. We can reuse it.
Yeah.
And in practice, what that meant was this is bland. We probably should have done more. And now we are going, let's do more. So all of them are bespoke in some way, and there's a bit more effort put in.
So, go ahead.
The old ones will still exist, but we're going to be calling those crisis events now. So these are the big end game scenarios.
Yep.
So just to set the scene, as Sean said, these ones are really here to impact
Yep.
your experience to quite a level.
Yeah.
So is the intent? So would you have both a crisis event and an endgame event during your campaign?
If you so choose. I mean, the crisis events are very much like, in the mid-game, someone gets a power bump. That's effectively how it works right now. The dwarves, they've got a big power bump, but it hasn't actually changed your campaign player a great degree other than one of the factions are supercharged now. These end games are supposed to be actually changing the way the campaign is going to play and how the other AI interact with you. When Archeon turns up, everyone's probably going to universally agree maybe we chill a bit until he's gone.
Maybe not Archaon.
Yeah, well, no, maybe he's got his own stuff going on, but all the non-Chaos factions will probably agree maybe there's bigger problems on the horizon.
Yeah.
But yeah, the crisis events can still happen, but they aren't the big moment. The end game scenarios are the big moments.
Yeah. And one of the things that we'll call out there, so what we're going to do is we're going to dive into just a couple of very work in progress in development screenshots of Archaon's endgame event,
nice.
but very difficulty curves. So the 3 endgame events, they're
I
spiking
want to know
at
what,
different
I want
times?
rewards.
Yeah,
I
so
think it's really important to have
Archaon one is
rewards
very
for
much
each endgame,
at the
like
get-go,
special units,
don't
special
mess with
items you can get.
He's going to come in with a
Buffs.
unified chaos.
Yeah.
And for all of this giant unified form of chaos and all of the different pieces of the mechanic you'll probably get a glimpse at in a second, he is effectively, not literally, but effectively untouchable.
Yeah.
Like, he is so amped to the nines, don't try it.
Yeah.
The gameplay goal there is weaken his forces, weaken the United Chaos, and then eventually...
Yeah. Don't say,
Take 'em on.
let's go to our next screenshot.
I'm spoiling it all.
I will give a public apology. That says patch 9.0. It's meant to say update 9.0. I've not used our correct terminology. So everyone pretend that says
Let
update.
everyone
Well, shall we talk about Archaon's endgame event?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
People seem pretty excited by these updates. So let's show them a little bit of what they'd get to experience. So when does this pop up?
So we've got our foreshadowing moment of, where's Archaon gone? That's suspicious. And then about 10 turns later, we'll have on the start of the turn, we'll have the nice, if you remember back to Warhammer 1 when we had the Chaos Invasion cinematic,
Yep.
It's effectively in that vein of setting the tone that things are going to get bad.
Yeah.
And then when you come out, you'll get this, and this will give you an explanation of what is the theme, who is the trouble, how do you stop it?
And he's trouble.
Yeah.
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 So a couple of his mechanics are on there at the moment. So we're starting with a very high ward save, which I think you'd hinted at.
Yeah,
so
don't try it.
So don't immediately go and take Archaon
Yeah.
out.
I mean, you can. I wouldn't personally.
We look forward to the challenge videos.
Yeah.
Someone asking then, where will Archaon be on the map if you weren't playing as him?
So, because all of this is development in progress, that is actually one of the things that we're still tweaking. But generally, we're trying to get him and his friends,
Yep.
the Friends of Chaos, to be close enough to you that it's relevant. We don't want it to be you're in Lustria and Archaon is all the way in the old world and completely untouchable and thus irrelevant. But we are still fine-tuning what feels right, because we don't want him to be primarily invading Lustria for the
Yep.
his big moment. It doesn't really work. So that is something we're still fine-tuning.
And these mechanics that they're seeing on screen now, these are unique to Archaon's endgame, right?
Yes.
So the other two may have similarities, but overall are a different experience.
Yes, I mean, there are similarities in terms of what the goal might be or how you might counter something, but the
Yeah.
actual mechanic itself is, very unique.
Yeah. So I think we actually have a screenshot of I let it happen. I let this endgame trigger, and this is if anyone can work out where that is, they'll work out it is a very different looking version of what that area of the map should look like. So are we talking about different visuals then for these endgames?
Yeah, if you don't stop Archaon, the world's going to get much smaller very quickly. And the only way we're clearly, for those that have been following us, seeing our devastation visuals here as the world is being destroyed. And throughout the end game, work in progress as it stands today, as the regions are razed and destroyed during the end game, you cannot recolonize them until the end game of Archaon is resolved.
Yep.
So he's really hampering you going for that domination victory.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to get rid of him.
So we're seeing
His ward saving
Chaos
above
factions
90%.
uniting under Archaon.
Yep.
They're getting stronger. They're taking out settlements.
Yep.
We can't immediately just go and take them back. So you're kind of being really confronted with this is the end of the world unless you step up and stop it. I'm just seeing if there's anything else I have to say about that. New UI that they've seen, new music. I've seen quite a lot of people excited for.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, there's that monitor just turned off.
Yeah, this is really cool.
That's going to be whatever.
I still think they need to have rewards. Like, you need to have rewards,
that goes
like
with it, and it's we've been calling
small
it
rewards and big
mood
rewards.
change, because
I think
as
that's
it
super
happens,
key.
we see
Like,
some of the devastation. The lighting will change when you're in the devastation, and the music will play when the beginning of it happens. So we'll have that cinematic. We'll come out. We'll get the Archaon's here moment, and we'll get the Chaos Endgame music of. Be careful.
It sounds pretty good.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And we're saying there's going to be 2 more kind of variants of that then.
Yeah. One for each of the end games.
And I've got here then. So how are we stopping Archaon then at the very end of it?
You have to fight him, aren't you? You have to beat him up and then take him back to his final stand.
I think there's a couple of hints as well. With the number of invasion forces remaining, right? So they're reducing ward save a little bit. There are other ways to reduce ward save.
Yeah, so I again, work in progress.
Yeah.
All of this could change. But right now it's mostly about taking out his lieutenants.
Yeah, can you grab me the remote and can you grab me the mouse? Yeah. Thank you very much.
This is all live.
It is.
Yeah, so you can take out his lieutenants or the Chaos Lords, and you can go after the Chaos Portal Fortresses, which is the in-progress name
Yeah.
for what they are. Which is why it sounds a bit of a mouthful. No, it's actually it's really slick, that term. But effectively, what a Chaos Portal Fortress is we designate a part of the world where the barrier between the realm of chaos and the mortal world is being weakened at a portal, and that is a danger point for forces to come from. So you want to shut that down because, one, that's a danger point, and two, that does weaken Archaon and the overall invasion.
Fantastic. Then we're not going to talk about the other two because we are going to save that for you guys to be able to see yourselves. But we are going to talk about, while we're on the topic of him, Archaon. So Archaon's had a little touch up.
Writing down some feedback.
We'll start off with the pictures.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and Dorglar as well.
That'll be our next picture.
Spoilers.
If Dom can come in, Mr. Producer, and just log into that PC, it would save me a big headache. What have we got here? What are we looking at?
It's Archaon, isn't it?
It is. He looks a bit darker.
He's a bit more moody and broody.
So this isn't, as I can see, this isn't a complete remodeling, right? It's a bit of a texture update. So we're not sitting there saying we've completely redone the model, but you can see he's a bit broodier, he's a bit darker.
Yeah.
Just a bit more befitting for...
Exactly. Someone in the chat was saying he's got more aura, and I don't fully understand what that means,
He's
but I
been
understand
aura
enough.
farming.
Oh, I don't know if you want to have said that. That'll be clipped. All right.
He's mogging on them all.
Oh, okay. And also his horses. Thank you, Dom.
There you go.
That one, please.
Yeah, Dorglar looks
Yes.
good.
Yeah, Dorglar's here. I think that the big thing is between Warhammer 1 lighting and the setup of our initial game and Warhammer 3, a lot has changed over the course of our technology, our assets, and so on. And now we've got to a point where we felt that he didn't quite match the rest of the game's atmosphere.
No.
So we thought he needed that texture update.
That's it. You have to remember, like, these models are, well, at least 10 years old now.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
I forgot that they can't see me, so I've just run off camera and fixed some things.
Yeah, we pretended.
That was fantastic. Fantastic work. Alongside that, then, a little change to weapons.
Yeah.
Of course.
I don't have a before for this, so they're going to have to
It's to imagine.
imagine.
Or just load up the game.
Exactly. Load it up now and have a look. So just a few little changes there, but that isn't all the changes coming to Archaon.
No.
Okay.
He's got some campaign updates as well. So I think I might have seen a couple of Reddit threads about it, and we've had it in the works for a while. And I think it might have been me who said it years ago on Champions of Chaos. We always wanted Archaon to be able to confederate the other Chaos factions,
Yes.
but our technology literally didn't allow it at the time.
Yep.
It now does allow it. So what we can do is, very much Norska inspired, if he beats up any of the other Chaos factions, and that's not just the Warriors of Chaos, that's also the likes of Scarbrand and the Demons, he can say, you work for me now because I'm big bad Chaos man.
Yeah, ever chosen, right?
Yeah.
Well, exactly, yeah.
So how many people are we talking about he can confederate
I
here?
didn't count beforehand.
20-something?
It's a lot. It's
Oh,
quite
wow.
a few.
Mad
Yeah.
Pokemon.
We were maybe thinking of
Chaos
getting a picture of
Dwarfs.
him with all of them around, but it looked a bit,
stood up.
Oh, maybe
it
not
looked like
Chaos
the
Dwarfs,
Justice League,
but
maybe.
Chaos Warriors plus
Or the
Monogods.
Unjustice League. I have a few questions from chat. I'm just going to have a quick look
Imagine
through and
all
see
the
which of these we
legendary
can
heroes you
ask.
could get there.
That's why I needed to get this monitor up. Will the new corruption be visible for players playing non-chaos or death factions?
The new it's not necessarily new corruption, it's devastation. So there are ways that the devastation will happen, not just the end game. So Nagash's core mechanics actually use the devastation visuals to show that he's killing the world.
Yep.
So everyone, regardless of whether you buy the DLC or not, you will see the world be updated based on the goings on of the other factions.
Yep. Where will Archaon start on the map if you're not playing as him?
He's still in the same place, but if he becomes the end game, he goes walkabouts for a bit, and that's part of that escalation of
Build
like,
up, right?
where's the bad guy gone?
Yeah. Suddenly he's there. If you're playing as Chaos, how will you fight Archaon?
So as it stands today, work in progress. We don't do this end game if you're playing as Chaos, because all of Chaos unite into one single. We hate the rest of the world unified force, the Injustice League, like you said. So we felt that if you were playing, if you were playing as a Chaos faction, it didn't really have that big moment of like, oh, I've got a new enemy, I've got a new thing to challenge, because they would effectively be on your side. Yeah. So it wouldn't actually be the big moment we want. You just get a really big ally. So as it stands, it doesn't happen.
I feel like they're missing a really obvious thing there, that you could be against Chaos and against all of Order as well. You could be a renegade Chaos faction that doesn't follow Archaon, and you fight, and you're a Chaos faction fighting against the end times. That'd be sick. That should be an option.
A little bit.
No, this is it.
Is this perfect timing?
This is perfect timing.
Oh man, what prep we do on this stream. Yeah, so as you go through your campaign as Archaon, when you complete your short victory, you will get the option of, would you like to keep playing your standard Archaon Warriors of Chaos loop, or would you like to become the equivalent of an endgame? At that point, you can no longer occupy territory, and you can only destroy territory. And when you destroy enough regions in a province, it will become devastated. Every devastated province then adds to your total power level.
Yep.
And you become a pseudo version of what Archaon's endgame is.
I think that is so cool. The ability to become an endgame. I mean, a lot of players joke that the player is the endgame, but to take that and be with Archaon, no, this is you
quite literally are. Yeah.
That's really cool. Other questions we had here. So there was a question I think you've kind of touched on, which is, are the current crises being reworked?
They're being. So the Vermintide one, is because that is one of our 3 big end games. The other ones are being adjusted so that it works alongside the end game, but it isn't our focus right now.
Yep. That makes sense.
The answer.
Thank you. I was just seeing if that's a question.
What was that?
But actually, it was it was not. It was someone going holy moly, which is the brand safe version. Okay, cool. We've got maybe a little thing about another Chaos champion who you want to mention?
Oh yeah. So Sigvald. When we did Azazel and we made a Slanesh champion, and everyone told us, why is Sigvald an undivided champion? We agree. Why is he an undivided champion? So he will become a Slanesh champion in the future.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing to mention about Archaon is we are looking to integrate Wrathmongers and Skull Reapers into the Warband trees. Yeah. So again, something that people were asking about, now is the time that we're going to make that one happen.
Yeah, it was a somewhat, let's wait till we do the End Times DLC to bring in the End Times unit that came with Archaon, Archaon could get access to. So we're updating his warbands to get them as well.
So if you bought Archaon 10 years ago, now you're going to get the whole new experience of it.
You already had one rework, her second rework, where he gets his own mechanic.
Become the rework. So I will pop up just, I think, one more time before we move on, the endgames comparison. So we kind of bundled 2 things in there, right? Endgames and Archaon. But just for those who missed it. So the current crises, they will be called crisis events. There'll be more of a mid-campaign, a power boost to a faction.
I really want to hear about the rewards that you can get and these unique items that you can perhaps loot, or unique heroes you can get, or whatever,
much like
for
the
fighting
entire
the end times.
DLC and update, it's End Times inspired. So it's not a direct translation one-to-one of what
I feel like each End Times event should have at least one bespoke hero or unit that you can recruit. Like witch hunter, which type of witch hunter, or witch hunter unit or something, for versus vampires, or
and it is
something,
a really pretty cool opportunity that landed on our.
Having storyline and challenges and shit is cool, but people want rewards. People want loot,
which I don't think I've ever said Weta out loud, and I've just seen how many bits there are on the name, and I don't know if I've said that correctly. They are also big fans of Warhammer, for those who don't know. They've made a whole bunch of statues, and they are making one to celebrate Total War Warhammer. But it's just a tease. We're not able to say exactly who they're working on. So stay tuned to Weta's channels, and you'll be able to find out more about them. Maybe someone will be able to guess who it is and who's getting a model. But if you're excited to get a model of them, that'll be coming soonish.
That's almost as
No,
hard as your
yeah,
last
exactly,
Who's That unit.
It is. I did realise, as I said, coming soonish. I have no idea when it's
Seem
coming
giving
out.
an
But
item,
it's cool,
aka
and,
Nemesis
there'll be more
Crown sort of
information
pain as a
about it.
reward. Yeah, that would be
Right,
cool. But I
let's
feel like
move
even you could have
on
more
to-
smaller like rewards along the way.
First
Not
leaders.
just like I think they'll
Welcome
probably
back.
likely give you a big
Let's talk about
reward for
victory
defeating the
conditions.
crisis.
So we've
but
had a look
like
at
I reckon
victory
you should get
conditions in
little
9.0.
rewards, like some sort of special, not that powerful,
And I think
but interesting
that's the
item you
headline
can
here, right?
only
is
loot during
every
that
lord
fall, you know.
has had a look at their victory conditions.
Yeah, this is something we put off for a long time because it is such a big piece of work, but it felt needed.
Yeah, you can't just do one group. It was going to do the whole shebang.
Yep. And there's been I've got the before and after here. So at the moment, to talk about the philosophy of victory conditions. So a lot of these were put in with
This is another area where same thing. Like victory conditions for me are all about the rewards. Like I don't really care about the challenge aspect or the storyline aspect of it too much. Although they should be appropriate. But like I'm all about what's the reward that it gives me. Why do I want to bother doing this?
So it wasn't even just like ogres have this and greenskins have that. It was everyone that we think is within this broad spectrum gets the same thing. So it was super broad. And it was
hero capacity for everyone,
necessary.
Oh man, I bet they take hero capacity away from high elves. The one faction that really needs it.
It's always been something that we
fixed this by taking away all the best one from everyone and giving everyone shit rewards,
some character.
Yeah. So I think we've got 3 examples of the victory conditions before and after. But the change now, so focus on conquest, I like being something removed as more of a thematic, as someone who likes to play Oxalotl. Wasn't a fan of having to raise 30 settlements. I just want to live in the south and like just live my life, like adventuring out. So the planned ones, bespoke per lord, we've said. Every lord's had a look. They're thematic and mechanic focused. So it's more about using the faction rather than a carte blanche, go and do this. Focused rewards. So we'll touch on rewards.
We can touch on rewards a little bit. But
defeating the endgame scenario won't be the end of the game.
Currently,
like no one would want
short
that.
victory and long victory are by and large shared generic effects for everyone. And again, that was
Although
just
in
a part of the
practice, you
Immortal
probably
Empire
will
setup.
get bored
We needed
after
to
that, I
get
imagine.
something in.
Yeah.
What we've done now is for the short victory, there is a shared cultural reward.
Yep.
So all of the high elves will have one reward, and the second short victory is bespoke to the character you are playing as. So there's 2 key rewards. And then the long victory is it's still in the same vein as what's live of it's a more generic reward that's and the goal of the rewards is to encourage you to go to the next stage.
Yeah.
So the short victory is a nice little thematic bump to go, hey, why don't you stick around and complete your long victory with these thematic rewards?
Yeah.
And when you get to long victory, the only thing left after that is domination or surviving the end games. So it's a bit more of a generic, here's a slight, bump in your starting rank and those kind of things so that you can keep the pace that you are currently at.
Yep. We don't. So we'll be showing some of the victory conditions. We won't be showing some of the rewards. I've seen some of them. Some of them really exciting. So really excited to see what people think when we start to be able to talk about them more. And the person in me was like, I'm live and I can say what I want. Won't start listing some of the ones I like, but I won't. I'll hold back. So what we'll start is we'll have a look at Thorgrim. So this is what Thorgrim's current short and long victory conditions are. So you can see here.
Tiny picture.
It was you're going to see it was a lot harder to fit the new ones in. So that's everyone can remember. That's what it looks like. It's also why I got rid of development in progress. It's already developed.
Everyone's snipping tool right now.
Yeah.
And then this is what the planned ones are. So I think for Thorgrim, this is kind of an archetypal faction leader version of our reward update.
Yeah, so for the faction leaders, we do want it to be about unifying the faction. That's why we've got something like the Confederation but even within there's still like clear cultural goals.
So
and
what's
there is
the
like
reward though?
The appropriate landmarks.
This stuff I think is good and maybe needed,
there's a
but
couple of
it's
UI
like
improvements for how we're showing off these
like
things.
I want to know what loot. What do I
a lot
get?
of our victory condition
Like, that's the main thing you
was
want to know.
dated,
Yeah.
and we've had quite a few people trying to make it not look so dated.
Yep.
Which was actually quite difficult.
Confederation.
For anyone who's actually touched the victory editions, because I know there's a very popular
Confederating
mod.
2 other legendary lords is
quite
alright
dated
because
that
you
well.
always confederate Grombrindle and
while we're on it,
Malachi
to touch on
basically
that,
automatically
what people see
through
is
the
the
faction
goal here
mechanic.
isn't to emulate popular victory conditions mods, right? We're both beholden to different rule sets and different player expectations for sandbox gameplay. But also
that sucks.
that experience is out there.
Yeah,
and
because I like to play with no confederation, so I can have buddies.
What we're creating is our own version of experience.
Yeah, precisely. And for what it's worth, we really like that mod. We think it's a really cool mod, and like you said, we had our own ethos of what we were trying to achieve with it, and how we made a unified approach across the game. But it, for a long time where we had just the Immortal Empires victory conditions, I think a lot of players did appreciate the effort that mod had put in.
For sure.
I'm in a lot of trouble because I said short several times on the Thorgrim screen. So
once more.
There we go. That's 3 entries in the book. So shall we talk about the Beastmen? So we've got Taurox.
Sure, he's a good one.
So this is the before. Get some marks. Occupy, loot, and raise some places.
Kill a bunch of factions, especially
lot of
ones that you're nowhere near.
Yep. So everyone remember, this is what we've got, and this is what we'd be looking to move into.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things I actually want to call out here, and the development in progress is doing some heavy lifting, because anyone that is eagle-eyed will see, raise the Minotaur's cap twice. This is because we are testing out the tech. It's new tech to get this to work, so that those numbers are all placeholder as is. But the key thing that would have changed from the previous one to this one is whenever we say kill a faction, they should be, and if we've missed it, they should always be legendary lord factions.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't want you to just be killing minor factions anymore. It's not a particularly noteworthy achievement, and we want it to be that those factions are where you are, or someone that you actually should be thematically trying to kill. So Taurox being all the way in Nagaroth, it didn't really make much sense that he had to go and kill Carl Franz.
Yep.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Someone said, was that Taurox? And now I'm doubting myself. I think those were the right pictures.
It was Taurox.
Yeah? Okay, good. They've confirmed. So anything else? And also, I guess the special herdstones is a really cool change up. But you can see the point here, Beastmen are quite a sandbox faction.
Yeah.
So we've maintained that sandboxness. It's just a bit more thematic to Taurox.
Certainly that.
So shall we talk about tic-tac-toe?
Why not?
He's hoping he spelled it correctly. So this is the current for tic-tac-toe, and I think...
Yeah, really good point, Anthony. I hate that as well
what
now.
do people hate about this condition? You have to go to Livestream.
I've got the cap on because the light is so blinding.
It's the worst resolution monitor I can find.
Across the pond, don't you?
Yeah, well, the lizard men are your guys, aren't they? So you should talk about this one.
Again, it's just in the wrong part of the world for what we're asking to do, so want to absolutely address that and make sure you are fighting, going after things that make thematic sense and around where your character starts.
Yep. I have actually misspelled tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, it should be a Q.
Yeah, don't.
This is the old one. The old
so everyone remember, this is what's before, and it's still misspelled. But this is the after. So what are we seeing here in differences of conditions? So we're seeing a shift of stuff into the short campaign as well.
Yeah, so we're seeing around cultural mechanics like the spawning sequences. We're seeing, and again, these numbers are all temporary as we put them in.
Yeah.
But rather than just, actually the recruit one's a good example to talk about, where we want you to have themed armies with tic-tac-toe, you should have these flying units.
Yep.
We didn't want the objective to be purely just recruit them, because we felt that would be a bit of a weak ending to a campaign if you ended on I clicked recruit victory. So we have the rank condition in there as well, because the goal and the hope there is the likelihood is you'll end on a battle ranking up those units so that they cross that threshold.
Yep.
So that is something else we're trying to achieve, is make sure that we don't end on a bit of a weak ending. We want it to have like a nice battle or something exciting that made it feel like a victory.
Get the proper Lizardman Air Force.
Exactly. And someone said, have there been any changes to insert any lord name? And I think the answer is yes, right?
Yes.
So every lord.
Yeah.
So these are 3 examples of...
Actually, a couple
I think they said they're still working on the rewards, that's why they weren't showing them, but it would have been nice if they did at least an example of one of them that they think they're pretty happy with.
We were sort of figuring out in the last 3 DLCs what works, so that we could go, what is it from then on? And that's why it's been a little bit inconsistent in the last couple of DLCs, because we were trying to figure out what was the best approach. So like Mashiva either won't change at all, or is changing very small amounts compared to a lot of the older characters.
And someone asking what the rewards are. We did speak about that before. The rewards are all the rewards changing? A large swathe at least?
Basically all the rewards are changing. Except for Chaos Dwarfs, because again they had something that was actually noteworthy.
Yes. So we will we'll hopefully be able to share more about that as we get closer. There's just so many of them. Like, we had to pick 3 here out of 100 lords. I mentioned at the start, like Oxalotl, he's lost his go and take 30, and it's instead about doing his missions, right? And I think that's the vibe people will see for all of these. Is it's much more focused on the faction. Are we doing anything with flybys?
Yes.
Was that subtle enough, do you think?
We wanted to come back and address the fact that flybys have been essentially gone, right? Since we made Immortal Empires. Sure, we've got the little camera pan down, but it's nothing like what we did originally for the Warhammer series. So you're going to get to see those again now when you start the game. They're not going to be focused on a particular character, but on an area of the world. So you'll get some lore, some explanation, like a setup, where people are, what they're doing, give you a lay of the land basically, and hopefully create that immersive start that a lot of people are after.
Yeah, that's why I think, are really good.
Start the campaign
because that's what you want. You don't want it to be a on rails story experience. You want it to be a sandbox, but you want as many story elements and atmosphere and setting and stuff as you can without restricting what you actually do.
So a lot of people very happy to sit back. Norska rework when I saw in the chat. I think about 8 months ago. How long is time?
A little while ago now.
Shall we talk about vampire counts?
Why not?
So, to caveat this, we don't have any specific screenshots of the vampire count stuff. This is going to be a bit more of a discussion of it. Some of it more tied to Neferata bits that we didn't want to show. So we're going to have a discussion of it. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that's changing, and then we're moving on to our third section of the stream. So, vampires. They've had a couple of changes.
They've been waiting for them as well.
Yeah, they've been a long time. I mean, they got the bloodlines back 7, 8 years ago.
I think that was one of our first reworks that we did.
I don't even know if we call it a rework these days.
No, a panel feature.
We call it a panel, yeah. But yeah, they've been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Another reason why we don't have
feature,
many images here is this is the most work in progress in terms of we are playtesting this quite significantly right now, and things are changing a lot. So I'll be somewhat vague at times, but
I think this is the intent that we're going for at the moment, right? But we need to prove it out, make sure it's fun. And,
But the big thing here, I'll start with the reworked because it's grounded. You understand what is already in the game. So Raised Dead. Nobody actually used local recruitment for vampire counts ever, because why would you? It was not the way that you actually recruited. So we've acknowledged that is not the way that you actually recruit, and we have now changed Raised Dead to be the default way of the vampire counts recruit.
That's awesome.
How it works now is to jump to the new section. So I'm going backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
We've got corpses. So when you fight a battle in a province, a number of people that die contribute to the corpses in the province. And you can use those corpses to immediately re-recruit the units that you want.
Yep.
So very much like how Raised Dead worked, but instead of it using treasury or dark magic, it now uses corpses as our fuel for new units. That is for like the bottom half of the faction, the tiers 1 to 3. The tiers 4 and 5 will use a different resource, which is effectively like blood kisses plus. We're still working on that.
Plus kisses. You can take that.
Oh, look at that.
Amazing. But we're still working on what that name will actually be called.
Yep.
We're workshopping a few options, but effectively it's Blood Kisses Plus.
Yep.
That will be used to recruit the tiers 4 and 5 units. So corpses are a provincial recruitment. You walk into somewhere, you go, there's loads of dead bodies, let's get some scallybobs. And then you want a big Terrorgeist, well, you use your special Blood Kisses Plus resource, and you can do that anywhere. It doesn't matter whether there's corpses in the province because you're using a special resource for it. But because we're shifting to everything's immediate recruitment, and we know it is, we're also going to be using unit caps now. So we still wanted the buildings to actually be useful, which is part of the problem why the local recruitment was a bit of a failed version there, because you never built the buildings because that wasn't how you even.
They only have
got
unit caps for top high tier
you build
units.
The buildings to help you get unit.
They're not going to have unit caps for fucking zombies.
So that's the big Raised Dead changes there and recruitment changes. There's a few things that are self-explanatory, like there's a new tech tree. It's split between 3 sections: a necromancy section, a vampire section, and a shared the units section. And what else have we got? Oh, we got new convert regions to. So yeah, so there's quite a few places in the world where you don't like the climate. You can spend your Blood Kisses Plus resource to actually change it into a new climate type called Undead Wasteland. So you can turn anywhere in the world into an actual Undead Wasteland that will match the visuals of the corruption. It's an expensive thing to do, and it can be reverted if someone takes away your big settlement. But it's just another new little thing that we've added.
Terraforming.
Yeah.
Then anything else we want to chat about on here? We've got the and more because there are a whole bunch of other little things being changed.
I didn't even mention vampire layers. That's a big one.
That is. I saw some people saying, "What's a vampire?"
So the big change there. But, I mean, realistically, necromancers and vampires are on pretty substantial different power levels. And I don't think we really captured that in the live version of the game where you can just get either or. So to get vampires now, you have to find a vampire layer. You can either take the settlement or send an agent off to find the layer. And when you get there, you then customize what your vampire is. So you can spend your Blood Kisses Plus resource to make sure that the army, that when it comes in, it comes with an army. It comes with some special traits, comes with some special items, comes in at a higher rank. But most importantly, you pick what bloodline it is. So your vampires are always one of the bloodlines. But you have to find them. So they're limited, but intentionally from the get-go, we are making the more powerful option.
That's awesome.
You'll build your own vampire.
Yeah, that's cool, because the vampires in the lore do actually have their own various hours and shit, like they're not all the same.
Fantastic. Is
like
there
even within a
anything
bloodline
else we want to say
certain,
about
like,
vampire counts? I guess one thing new is they will have a new
might have,
legendary
but different
lord
individual
in the
vampires would
roster.
have different lines and stuff. I feel like
we'll speak
that's
about
pretty cool.
At some point in the future.
That's vampire
we've
lords, I
got there
assume,
like
talking
and
about, not
more because
vampire
there's
heroes.
loads of stuff of touches on skill trees and
there's so
cool
much.
if you could make
we
your own
could
vampire
go on
heroes.
for quite a while if we listed every minor thing. So we've sort of hit the big topics there.
fantastic. Then one other thing that I cut off of this because it was small, but I think people really like is Vlad and Isabella being able to become lords in each other's campaigns via their skill tree, which has currently been looked at.
Yeah, that was something that where we are now stripping back how many vampires you get based on how many layers you have. It was noticeable when we played Vlad that actually maybe I kind of just want Isabella to also lead her own army because having a second powerful vampire lord is very useful, but it is purely an option. If you like the fantasy of they're always together in each other's army, leave her as the hero, or vice versa, leave him as the hero. But if you do just want a second powerful vampire lord, it is completely up to you now.
Fantastic.
It would be sweet if you could change them back and forth.
That is
so
what
like
we have
Vlad
for
could
9.0 section.
become a lord, kill some lords for their defeat traits, then become a hero again and join back into Isabel's army.
I don't know what the time is.
Because in Medieval 3, apparently you're going to be able to be a lord and a hero. You can switch back and forth.
We've got to move on then. There is more in 9.0
so we'd love if they
that's
brought
been
that
worked on, but
to this.
When we're ready to show all of that, hopefully we'll be able to show you some more with gameplay builds and playing around in areas. Right. Let me press all my buttons.
Yeah, I like as in general for all Total War mechanics. I think heroes and lords should be interchangeable.
I've seen a lot of people in chat hoping and guessing for very different lords, and I know there's one person on Reddit, man-sized rat, but we're actually going to be announcing a man-sized man, a slightly bigger man-sized man, and then something enormously not man-sized, kind of man.
Really big guy, yeah.
So we're pleased to announce the next Lord of the End Times is 1, 2, and 3. Who is this?
The triplets.
The triplets.
The foul triplets. So this is the Glockkin
in
all its glory, and that is the three brothers, Ethrak, Otto, and Gurk. So they come as a powerhouse. Literally, Gurk is the powerhouse, stomping around there as we see, with Ethrak and Otto on top. So you got a casting character up there, as well. Their backstory, if you don't know, they were raised in sort of the Norscan waste, and the Empire came and smashed down their village and destroyed everything. They lost their parents, and of course this was just the opportunity for Nurgle. There's already a connection there to sort of sow that seed, pledge themselves to him, and we have this mighty, beautiful trio.
Does feel like they got very different deals in that barter. So, Glockkin, they're joining us as
Warriors of Chaos.
Warriors of
pretty
Chaos.
And there's a few reasons for that. And this actually goes all the way back, like maybe 20 minutes or something. Part of the reason we're comfortable making Sigvald a champion is because we are sort of opening it up to go, okay, well, the Glockkin will be a second Nurgle champion. We're okay having a second Slaanesh champion. But the big reason why we wanted them to be Warriors of Chaos was from a campaign playstyle point of view. We really want it to go, we've got Warriors of Chaos here, we've got Festus there, and there's Nurgle all the way there. This was our nice extra step along the journey of where do they sit in this picture. So they have the greatest access to demons and the Nurgle roster compared to any of the other. None of the champions of Chaos will get anywhere near the level of Nurgle access that the Glockkin will get, but they are still using some of the core Warriors of Chaos loop with their own special mechanic as well.
And I think we'll swap on over to showing actually. Hopefully they can still hear us. Showing the Glockkin in action.
That's a good point. This will be the first
we've got
Warriors
a
of
few
Chaos
units we'll be showing off,
that
and I
really
think a couple of
has
those units will. I can see people
their own
saying makes
bespoke
sense.
mechanics.
But I think a couple of those units will also
Rest
show
are just
what we've been
kinda
able
like
to add to the
copy-paste
Warriors
with
of
slightly
Chaos
tweaks,
roster by making Glockkin into Warriors of
I mean,
Chaos, right?
Major ones,
For those
anyway.
that know
I suppose Bellicor's
every
got the
unit we have in the
portals.
game so far, there's actually not that many Nurgle units left.
Yeah.
We've got all the ones that we can get in now. But there are other units that were still on the table, so we felt
16
that
point-
actually,
16.3K
again, that's another
health.
justifying point. Glockkin being Warriors of Chaos allows
Gotta
us
get
to bring in
plus
some of the
20
really
from-
cool
20%
units that
from
aren't
Bloody.
yet in the game.
Yeah.
They get some big gribblies.
Yeah, he's doing some gribblies as well right now, by the looks of it. It's, so he's got a special, I think that's an ability, right, that you're using there to, and then I charge him in. I quite enjoyed recording Glockkin. He's very imposing. One of the figures we'll show later, I did not enjoy having to record, as you'll see. But a fantastic model. He did keep turning away from me all the time I was recording. But fantastic attacks. I think we've got that guy at the top as well. He's casted, throwing down some ranged fire as we were walking in.
Yeah, well, not really, but he's
One projectile every now and then.
Yeah, he's swiping. So Otto's at the very top. He's our super fan of Nurgle. He's the true believer of the three brothers. Ethrak is the caster, somewhat in the middle with the third arm, which is casting some of the spells in the animations. And Gurek, but he can only say Gurk now, so he goes by Gurk, is the big boy stomping as we see on screen. I do want to take a second to point out the top and bottom titles, because after the last time we did this video, all of these stats are definitely going to change.
Yeah, I can see a lot of people trying to discuss the health.
All of these stats are definitely going to change, and they are work in progress. I remember when we showed the Tutogen Guard off, there was some concerns. And that won't be what's in the game.
So I grabbed this from a build, 3 days ago, Friday. Had to re-export it today because I misspelled progress. Which goes to show how development in progress that is. We've been working on the words, but that is absolutely
really
right.
cool,
So I think there were
doesn't
some
it,
balance questions last time about Knights Panther,
like a
and I
big
believe
boy.
by the time we showed the video, they'd already been rebalanced from them.
Love the horns.
So I would take the numbers on the side as kind of a guide of what we're trying to make their role, rather than the specific numbers they'd land on.
Yeah, it's also where we don't necessarily show many of the abilities, because that's just more areas for us to say this is work in progress.
Yep. Shall we move on to the next unit?
Yeah.
Or should I say,
He's got some friends, hasn't he?
units? So the Putrid Light Kings.
Had to do.
Yeah, this is awesome.
And do you know what? I think there was a thread about this I saw yesterday, debating how we would do them. Would they be one unit? Would they be variants? And how have we done it?
There's 3 variants.
There,
We've got all 3 variants in there. Yeah.
So here, and these are going to cycle through. So here we've got
Great weapon,
the
dual
base
wield,
variant, it's
dual
axe
wield,
and shield,
axe
and then we've got dual axes. I've got to say, I love the stomachs. On
Yeah,
these
like a
guys.
little bell, little nurgling.
And then at some point, in about 10 seconds, it will show us
31
the
speed,
third
yeah,
variant,
that's slow.
who has, you can see one there, the
I'm
nurgling in the
piercing.
stomach
Yeah.
is fascinating and disgusting in equal measure. So is the bell. Some of them have like a bell ringing in there. So we've got 3 different variants here. Is that us trying to mirror what we see on the tabletop?
Yeah, effectively. We wanted to make sure that we got all of them in, so that there was a space in your
You can see that
roster
guy's
for them as
spine
well.
inside his belly.
They are one of the most iconic end times units like that are in the entire setting.
Yeah.
So we thought, well, we have to do every part of it. We can't just pick our favourite.
For sure.
And we get to see them absolutely chow down on some units here. I think these are a mix of very low level and decent tier Kislev. But they, especially the great weapons, absolutely chewed through them in this.
I think to that point, that's what we've been trying to do for all these rosters, all the characters across the Lord of the End Times DLCs. Make sure that we've got the thematic units that are associated to it. So they do come in slightly different shapes and sizes, but it's
Warriors of Chaos Nurgle as well. Like Warriors of Chaos, like Nurgle is good if you like a sort of slow and steady build up until you eventually become an unstoppable role. Whereas Warriors of Chaos is much better if you like, coming out hard and fast and just smashing straight away or something. So this is going to be Warriors of Chaos Nurgle.
Someone said they don't look entirely
Warriors of Chaos can be a bit boring because there's so many factions. They're all the same. Whereas this one's going to have their own bespoke faction mechanics as well. Like
then I'll let this finish off just because there's a fun
and more access to Nurgle units as well as the Warband
But then
stuff.
we will move on to our
So I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
I think is one
could become my new Nurgle
very
faction.
tall.
As long, hopefully they're not super
Who I
fucking
think people are gonna be
overpowered
pretty
and shit
excited to see.
ridiculous like a lot of the DLC factions are.
as well.
Indeed, I
Yeah,
put the future
like,
Vikings there
campaign
to show
pacing,
the absolute scale of this.
Siege
You
Giant.
can see there's the armor on the giant is maybe what's going to differentiate them from what's already in the roster.
Do you reckon the
blades
texture
as
on
well.
the giant
I mean, yeah,
looks
I
a
guess
bit
also the
not
blades,
quite there
looked
yet?
well.
But gameplay.
I know they said it is it's
right.
development in progress. So I'm wondering if the giant
weakness is the fact
will be a
that,
bit more like I don't know. He seems a bit like
cheap archers can eventually take it down.
Yeah.
I don't know,
You're
like he
gonna
needs more
struggle to take
detail or
this down with
something. I'm
archers
not
now.
sure. Something about it.
So
But anyway, yeah,
that's the big
this is
upgrade.
development
But
in
again,
progress.
To go back to why Warriors of Chaos is really
Oh, yeah, the
useful for
Siege Giant's
the
cool as
Glock
fuck.
is we've got this awesome
I like
guy.
it. I like it as well.
And
I was
as
just
we've
saying
done
that
many
just
times
the.
before,
It's
these
like he
guys
looks
will
right,
turn
but
back
just
to
like he's not the right
Chaos
color
Force,
or he's not the right texture
That's
or something.
exactly
You know,
what
it
people
needs,
would
just
say.
needs some
I'm glad
polish
you
there.
managed to jump
But
on
yeah,
that.
as
We're
they
on the
say
same
in the
wavelength
giant
there.
letters, it's development in progress.
Excellent.
So you can see, I think we had up there a couple of the abilities as well.
Oh
I
yeah,
think we
he's
saw
got
one of them pop as a
directional
charge in,
shield
which
like
is
the
an
steam
aura,
tanks. I don't really understand
which-
why. Oh, because he's got the plating
if
on
I
the
had
front but
memory
not
to
on
be
the
able
back.
to remember what it said it did.
Okay, so his front
I'd be a
is like
strong man.
impervious to cannons and shit potentially.
But
There's Yellen Ball,
Yes.
and there's the active, which is ripping blades.
Yeah, which I don't think we get to see ripping. There you go, yellow
It's a
ball.
bit too
So
clean.
reducing
Yeah,
the
that's
leadership
exactly
of
right. Yeah,
everyone
a bit
around them,
too
which is the
clean.
hex that we saw coming in.
What's
as they
that
moved
shield
in,
on his
and
leg?
ripping
Is that
blades
a-
being
just a big
activated,
kite shield?
which is a really cool little animation, but not in that video. He's just wailing on him. Okay, we have one more unit that we have to reveal, and then we are going to start wrapping things up.
Yeah, Siege Giant's so cool. And the main thing about Giants is them getting shot to death, right? You can get a lot of missile resistance if you're playing Warriors of Chaos, but
nothing that I can see in there. All right.
But yeah, he's going to have even more missile resistance and super high armor.
This
So,
was so
pretty cool just having a
difficult
line
to
of
film.
them like coming forward,
This guy.
all facing
He
enemies.
moves around, so you can see it here. He moves around
Yeah, big armor up front, exactly.
so much.
He's twitchy.
He is. I love this though when he's burying himself in his ooze. Not a sentence I thought I'd say. So the
Nice and
Basilisk,
quick.
what kind of role is there? We've got them up there as a support monster. What kind of role should we expect to see?
I think that's a pretty good summary. Being a support monster, it's another pretty fast big monster in the roster of a single entity, and they've got a few auras on them that'll make them problematic. Did the video stop there?
It's
sure
on
whether-
grass.
Oh, okay, it's just a bit laggy. Okay, but yeah,
Yeah, it's a bit
another
lag.
big fast monster, effectively.
Yeah.
Which is quite
It's on
useful
there,
for
there.
Warriors of Chaos because really, they've got the Slaughter Brute. They've got a few really really big ones, but at this tier, they're kind of in a comparable point to Shaggoths in terms of cost range. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why
it's a
they
nice,
haven't problems
cool
with YouTube.
unit to have.
It was a great one. Putting on the roster and telling the animators you need to animate 8 legs,
Oh,
a
yeah.
tail, and
Yeah.
And then they said, well, why don't we also have him pick up a unit and eat them live on the battlefield?
Yeah. But it's great to get him into the game now. So I don't know if Monstrous Arcanum is quite complete yet, but we've done quite a
I
few.
think there's like a couple of
Yeah,
of the incarnates, but we've got the vast majority now.
Yeah. There's a question there of if you'd know who else would get access to the Basilisk.
So It's being debated because there's a certain culture that just happens to inherit.
I think that is what. I think that's the one that's currently being debated in chat.
well, let's say the debate continues, and potentially you could weigh in on the debate.
Yeah.
If you have a very strong opinion, let us know, and we can talk about all of our many stakeholders that agree on where should it sit.
We're seeing. I mean, someone said, "Are we talking about the French?" That's not the faction we're talking about. Every DLC is a Beastmen DLC. I mean, I'm not seeing anyone say no. I don't want to see them as Beastmen, but I'd be surprised if I did.
I'm waiting for the one guy on Reddit who says, "I don't want to see them as Beastmen."
That'll be me. I don't want to have to film it.
So it's not a Nurgle DLC, it's a Warriors of Chaos DLC.
Okay.
But Nurgle themed, and presumably Nurgle will get all of the units as well.
So that's our little preview.
So it's a Chaos Warriors DLC Lord, but presumably Nurgle will get updated units, and maybe Nurgle will get a little bit of an update to accommodate the new units.
Look at the smiles.
With the Lord skills and stuff.
So there is one more who we won't be talking about, so I don't want people to think that was me teasing that I was going to build up to something. Right. One more who we won't be talking about, but we've now got 3 revealed. So we've got Nagash, we've got Boris, who we revealed during the show and tell, and now we've got Glocken.
Yeah, 3 great ones. And another great one still to come.
Exactly. But people really liked it last time that we didn't stop there when we revealed the units. We gave them teasers of some other units. So I've grabbed 4 images of other units that will be coming with the Glocken, and I have desperately tried to make these slightly harder than last time, because I think the Empire ones, within 10 minutes I saw people had got them. So this time...
These ones are better. These are actually a bit more of a challenge.
They're Sean approved. So we have 4 teasers here of 4 different units. None of these units are ones we have already revealed, at least to the best of my knowledge. So we'll see if people are able to work some of these out. Someone said, well, that's just obvious. And I hope they're joking, all right? Because I took so many different snips to try and work out which ones aren't too obvious. I think one of these is much more obvious than the others, but we'll see.
I think they said they're all
Glocken. All 4 of them are Pontus.
How did they know?
Clearly I've left
the names. I think they said that they're all Nurgle,
we'll see if people are able to work those out. I was thinking we could have confirmed the Empire ones, but I think it was all just kind of agreed upon instead.
I'm pretty sure that it was agreed within 10 minutes. One person had a conflicting opinion until they pointed out.
Yeah, someone put a picture of the model and they're like, no, it's this part. So we'll see if people are able to get this one. Everyone thinks, so a lot of people trying to work out if they are Vermin Lords. These are all units coming with Glocken as part of the Warriors of Chaos roster. Okay.
That's interesting. So I wonder if there's going to be any non-Nurgle units added with Glocken.
Let me quickly see if there's any questions. So, do Giants Yell and Ball?
Do all Giants get Yell and Ball? As it stands today, no. But with all these tags about development and progress, things can change.
Do whatever you want. And we've answered about maybe who's going to be... We're looking at who's getting access to different units. Fantastic. Okay. Let me find my pieces of paper and we can start to wrap this up. So that's we don't really need a name for this. We stole it from GW Rumour Engine, the CA Rumour Engine.
What are you talking about? This is unique.
This is my unique idea that I came up with.
Josh's snips.
But yeah, let us know what you think of them. Otherwise, that is our stream for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed the What's Next Live. We hoped to give you a bit of a glimpse into what we're working on for 9.0, another look at another Legendary Lord. Let us know what you think, if you like the format of this and other bits you'd want to see. You will be hearing from us next, I think, generally in streams. I think I'm going to take next week off just to do a bit of work on this room. Maybe when we come back, we'll have little microphones here instead of ones up there, so I'll stop hitting my head. We'll see. But when you can expect to see more from End Times is, at the moment, when it's ready. We are heads down. I mean, you two in particular, I apologise for stealing an hour of your time. Heads down, launching later this summer. I'll still be here. We'll be chatting 8.1 next week. We'll be playing some campaigns. We've got plenty of other streams on the way, not just about Warhammer 3. Sorry, guys. But for 9.0 and End Times, the next time you'll hear from us will be closer to launch.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where we are. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Really appreciate you coming along. Thank you so much, my wonderful guests. Lovely to have you here. I think we managed to get through everything in decent time and got to. So thank you very much for coming on.
No worries.
We'll see you all next time. See you at the next stream.
See ya.
Bye.
It's quite a few button presses for me to get to the end of this.
We'll see
Alright.
you awkward.
Yeah, that was cool. Lots of good stuff actually. I don't know. I think the feedback part of it was probably a big part, like why I thought it was valuable. Like a lot of stuff they talk about, I like have ideas about, oh, I hope you don't do it like this, or I want you to add this, so I guess that's part of the reason why they do these streams so early, is so they can get feedback. Like they're gonna, obviously now Reddit's gonna be, coming up with heaps of everyone's opinions about it and stuff, and they'll be following that stuff closely. What the fuck? Getting like random YouTube videos coming up. I can just I should just play the video again, shouldn't I? That'd probably be the way to go.
So we're trying this out. It's a live format of a What's Next. So if you've seen the What's Next videos, we've got, I think.
Yeah, no, there was heaps of really cool stuff in there. I think.
We've got
yeah, it was looking good.
And I think they're mostly screenshots in those. So we've got some videos, we've got some screenshots.
Like none of the champions of chaos will get anywhere near the level.
But I guess the main feedback that basically the feedback that I had that like I was thinking through there is like for the end game. So they're going through in order basically, or maybe we'll go through in like we're going through in order basically. With the
we've got a few units.
End game content that they were talking about, the end game crises that they're going to bring in, the new ones. I feel like you need rewards. You need to and also with the campaign victory conditions and stuff. Like the rewards are like kind of the most important part. Like it's cool having these like thematic storylines that are meant to tell part of the lore and give the player like a bit of a narrative journey to go on, or a bit of a narrative focus for their campaigns while still maintaining the sandbox elements and stuff like that. That's all cool, but like what do I get out of it? You know what I mean? Like, and I think that a lot of times they have this concept that people want like an end game that's going to give them a satisfying story conclusion to the game, which I think kind of makes sense and is true to an extent, but more so with other types of games, not this. Like, with Total War, like I think, like for me anyway, like it's not really. Like I am very much into the idea of dynamic sort of storytelling and like a naturally developing kind of narrative in your campaign. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's not like a story game; it's a real-time strategy game. But your mind makes a story out of it. Like I was allied with Karl Franz, and then he betrayed me when I was getting attacked by the vampires, and now you've got a grudge against Karl Franz and you hate him and stuff. Like you kind of develop these little like storylines in your head and stuff. And like I think. I think there's an idea that they need to have like a satisfying story conclusion to your campaign, or that's like a part of the incentive for the end games and stuff. And that definitely is, but I think like for most players, especially after you've played a lot of the game and you're replaying it and stuff, you want loot. Like, you know what I mean? Like people like want sick rewards, and and it really, I don't know why this is so important to me, but I don't just want a big reward at the end. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's like, I think like. I can't really put it into words probably, but so how I expect it to be is that there's going to be an endgame scenario like Archaon endgame, right? And once you defeat him, like you get a whole bunch of bullshit to deal with. Your whole campaign gets fucking totally disrupted by it and stuff. But it's like, but you chose to do it, right? It's optional. You've switched it on. So like it becomes your entire focus of your campaign dealing with this thing. But there's no reward until the end. Like at the end, once you've defeated Archaon, then you get some buff that lets you like, you know, be super powerful for the rest of the game. Like you defeat Archaon, and that unites all of the order factions in Peace and Love or something, and you get a million gold per turn or some shit, you know, whatever. Like it'd be some like really powerful reward that makes your faction supercharged, probably, you know. But it's like you by that stage you're so powerful, you've just defeated the most powerful thing the game could possibly throw at you. Like who gives a shit? What's the point of having a reward after that, you know? I mean you should still get the reward, obviously, but I'm saying like if you have smaller incremental rewards much earlier, like and yeah, so like my idea I guess for that is that like specifically unique and bespoke heroes and units, kind of like the Empire Elect account units, you know, like like special witch hunter regiments of Stirland headhunter, Stirland death's heads. Like think of a unit of Stirland halberdiers that have got like death masks that was especially to fight vampires and stuff. You know, stuff like that, like where they're just like little regiment of renown type variations on existing stuff, so it wouldn't be too taxing. You know, bespoke heroes that are like a generic hero but like a special type, you know, like a special demon hunter demon hunter warrior priest or something like that, you know. And like, you know, unique items, but not just like these, not necessarily just like mega items, but also like just little green items and stuff like that, but have like a unique cool effect that they do or something like that, you know. So that way, like when like you want it, so when the end game happens, you're excited about it because you're like, oh cool, the end game happened, now I'm going to get all these new tools and like toys to play with specifically for this end game, you know. You like, I think they think that it's like, oh, players just want like some like massive challenge to happen so they can smash their armies against it, and it's like, yeah, you do, but it's like, yeah, you have to have both. You got to have the carrot and the stick, basically, is what I'm saying. And like just having stick and then you have to overcome the stick to survive, the reward is you get to live, you know what I mean? It's like, well, what's the reward in that, you know? So it's like, I think for a lot of players and for a lot of players sometimes, but maybe not all the time, when you go to set up your campaign and you're going to choose what end games you're going to choose, you're going to have a look through all the end games and you're going to say, what do these end games give me? You know what I mean? You know, people, I think most people, not most people, I think a significant portion of people, like I think a lot of people are going to look at the end games and think about their campaign and think, how do I want my campaign to sort of end? What do I want the ultimate finale of my campaign to be, you know? And they're going to say, I want the ultimate finale of my campaign to be this ultimate war against Archaon, destroying the entire world. But I think a lot of other players are going to be like, what do these end games give me? Like, what's the rewards? What are the rewards of these end games? And look at it as a smorgasbord of potential things that they can have on their journey to creating their ultimate one-man Doomstack army or whatever, you know? And they might be like, well, if I defeat Archaon, I get this item that gives me like 25% ward save, or I get like a bunch of these units or whatever, you know? And like, yeah, so I know. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I think I've kind of covered it, but yeah, basically, I just think, like, I really hope that they have, instead of just having one big reward at the end, they have like little rewards during the end game crisis that you get. Like, a new unit becomes available through a little quest that you do or something, or you know, or a new mechanic becomes available. Like, you know, so they have like faction mechanics that the end game units are going to have. But what about faction mechanics for the player as well? So like, they were saying how when Archaon comes in, the players all get like this. The players all get a massive diplomatic bonus. Now that's cool and everything, but it's also really fucking boring. You know what I mean? Like, how much cooler would it be if instead of all of the order factions getting a massive diplomatic bonus with each other, the player got like a special mechanic, sort of like the Confederation mechanic that the dwarfs and the elves have got, where you've got to like collect certain things or do certain things to be able to pull in these other factions to become your ally, you know? So like, you're Karl Franz, you're like, the world's about to be destroyed. Fuck, I've got to ally with the dwarfs and the elves. And so you've then got some like things that you can do to like, you know, some like quests you can do, or some sort of mechanic that you can engage in that's fun. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's the thing, the rewards don't necessarily have to be items and units and stuff. The reward could be a new mechanic that's actually fun. You know what I mean?
big fast monster, effectively.
Yeah.
Which is
I'm not that concerned with the reward. Personally, the challenge is enough. It just seems a bit too linear for me. Like it's just going to be the same every time. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that they're kind of.
It's a nice.
Yeah, that's a really good point as well. Yeah,
It's a great one. Monster, and 10 the animators, you need to animate 8 legs, and a tail, and
Yeah.
And then they said, well, why don't we also have him pick up a unit and eat them
Yeah.
live on the battlefield?
Yeah. But it's great to get him into the game now. So I don't know if Monstrous Arcanum is quite complete yet, but we've done quite a
I
few.
think there's like a couple of incarnates, but we've got the vast majority.
Yeah. There's a question there of if you'd know who else would get access to the Basilisk.
So it's being debated because there's a certain culture that just happens to inherit.
I think that is
every
what.
single
I think that's
time.
the one that's currently being debated in chat.
well, let's say the debate continues, and potentially you could weigh in on the debate.
Yeah.
If you have a very strong opinion, let us know, and we can talk about all of our many stakeholders that agree on where should it sit.
We're seeing. I mean, someone said, "Are we talking about the French?" That's not the faction we're talking about. Every DLC is a Beastmen DLC. I mean, I'm not seeing anyone say no. I don't want to see them as Beastmen, but I'd be surprised if I did.
I'm waiting for the one guy on Reddit who says, "I don't want to see them in Beastmen."
I added in that another point about that. So so I think that's a really good point that Anthony said, which was that like it's gonna like the Archaon one, for example. It seems like a very straightforward,
so that's
very straightforward thing. Like Archaon is going to appear, he's going to unite all the Chaos factions, he's going to just start blowing up the world. Like once you've done it, once you've dealt with that once, it's not going to be it's not going to be as exciting to do it a second time. And I think having a bit of modularness to the end times. So like instead of every time Archaon unites all of the factions and stuff, then like and another thing with that as well, I think it'd be way more interesting if instead of Archaon popping and instantly uniting all the factions, if Archaon popped and starts uniting all of the factions, and you have a chance to try to slow him down or to stop him. So they said he's basically just gonna start off with 100% ward save, and you can't defeat him unless you do all this stuff. But it'd be good if he started off with like 30% ward save, and he's actively doing stuff to gain ward save. You know what I mean? So that it's like a bit of instead of it being like just giant end game that you've got to stop. That's the thing that like it's still fundamentally the same idea as before. Like before it was like they spawn 20 armies and you've got to defeat them. Now it's just like he spawns 1,000,000 armies and you've got to defeat them. You know what I mean? It's still essentially the same shit. But if it was like it's obviously it's fundamentally a lot different and it's a lot better obviously. But I'm saying it's still like at its sort of essential point, it's still the same thing. Whereas if it was more like now a new game is afoot, Archaon is now your nemesis. Archaon is trying to do this, and this, and you've got to try and stop him. And if you don't, then you're going to have to break him back down, which is going to be much harder. And that like, do you know what I mean? And then you've got this like system to engage with. Like I think, I don't know. For me, it's just like
trying to work out if they are Vermin Lords. These are all units coming with Glockin as part of the Warriors of Chaos roster. Okay, I think that's everything that we've got. Let me quickly see if there's any questions. So, do giants yell and ball?
Do all giants get yellow ball? As it stands today, no. But with all these tags about development and progress, things can change.
Do whatever you want. And we've answered about maybe who's going to be. We're looking at who's getting access to different units. Fantastic. Okay. Let me find my pieces of paper and we can start to wrap this up. CA Rumor Engine.
What are you talking about? This is unique. This is
my unique idea that I came up with.
Josh's snips.
But yeah, let us know what you think of them. Otherwise, that is our stream for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed the What's Next Live. We hoped to give you a bit of a glimpse into what we're working on for 9.0. Another look at another legendary lord. Let us know what you think. If you like the format of this and other bits you'd want to see. you will be hearing from us next, I think, generally in streams. I think I'm going to take next week off just to do a bit of work on this room. Maybe when we come back, we'll have little microphones here instead of ones up there, so I'll stop hitting my head. We'll see. But when you can expect to see more from End Times.
That could be fun. Might be an idea. Might have him spawn at random north or south cast ways too, so you just don't spawn camp him, I guess. Yeah, I think they did mention something about that. That like if Archeon's not the end time, like Archeon will start in his normal place, but once the Archeon end game kicks off, then he'll pop away somewhere else, like while he's getting around doing stuff or whatever. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what they said, but I think they said something like that.
That's where we are. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Really appreciate you coming along. Thank you.
But yeah, another point I mentioned earlier, they said that if you play as Chaos, basically you can't do the Chaos endgame, and I feel like that kind of blocks you out of being a rival to Archeon, and I think that would be hey, we got a raid. Hey, welcome, Lionheart. Yeah, I think that's a missed opportunity, because I think the idea of being another Chaos Lord that doesn't accept Archeon as the ever chosen, that thinks they're the ever chosen instead, and allows you to be like a rival to Archeon and potentially like defeat him and you become the ever chosen or something like that. I think that would be like, you know, like, because I think like, and kind of coming back to that reward side of things, you know, like, cool, Archeon makes a great kind of end game for
It's an all-new episode of Caillou.
this like I just get some. All right. Yeah, like yeah, I think like on that reward side of things, I guess, like if you're playing as Chaos, you're playing a Chaos, like you're playing as Wolfric or whatever, Archeon end time starts, you have the opportunity to like, you know, not join him basically, and then you want to be the ever chosen. So then you've got this reward that basically, if you can defeat Archeon, like then you can actually become the ever chosen, and then you take over as Archeon. You know. So I think like yeah, I think they said something about a mechanic for Archeon where Archeon can decide whether he wants to be the end game, be the end times or whatever. But yeah, it'd be cool if like if you do the Chaos end game and you're not Archeon but you're a Chaos faction, you can potentially defeat him, and then you get the option to basically have Archeon's mechanic to destroy the world. That'd be pretty cool.
Temporaries, we put them in. Yeah. But rather than just actually, the recruit one's a good example to talk about. Where we want you to have themed armies with tic-tac-toe, we should have these flying units. Yep. We didn't want the objective to be purely just recruit them, because we felt that would be a bit of a weak ending to a campaign if you ended on I clicked recruit, victory. So we have the rank condition in there as well, because the goal and the hope there is the likelihood is you'll end on a battle ranked.
Yeah, I think they were basically saying that if you play as if you play as Archeon, you can choose to just kind of play Archeon normally, or you can choose to basically activate the end times, and then you are able to just destroy the world. Exactly. So that you can, you know, if you want to have that satisfying Archeon campaign, you can just wipe out the world in the end.
So So these are 3 examples of.
Actually, tell a lie. A couple of the more recent DLCs haven't changed that much.
Yeah, so I think the challenge is cool and everything, but once you've defeated the challenge like 50 times, 100 times, you know what I mean? Like it's what works. Yeah, like that's so just because of my play style or whatever, I guess. You know, well, actually, yeah, my play style probably never even get to the end times, but yeah, I guess my play style is, you know, I'm really about I guess because I play the game so much and I played it for so many years and everything, you know, I'm like, yeah, cool, do it. And now how can I do it different? How can I subvert it to make it a different flavor from what the original intention was, or how can I do it with a different character or whatever, you know? So yeah, so I guess that's why for me, like that's such a big, like as much as I love the idea of these bespoke kind of story elements and all that sort of stuff, and I think it was badly missing with the old, so the old in-game crises were actually, do they have should I bring up the graphic? Was that before victory conditions or is it after? Yeah, here it is. So the current endgame prices, right? You basically get a warning, and then a bunch of hostile armies spawn. Most of them don't really have any special mechanics apart from a minor interesting thing with Skaven and a minor interesting thing with the Chaos Dwarfs. And then you just, it just buffs that one faction, and then you kill a bunch of armies and stuff, so it's very generic. It's kind of boring. It doesn't really bring any sort of narrative or storyline, which they're addressing that by having the multiple foreshadowing events, unique mechanics per endgame. And I hope these new unique mechanics, like I said, I hope these new unique mechanics are rewarding for the players. So instead of just the unique mechanic meaning, there's a whole bunch of different fucked up shit that's going to happen to you during this end times. Like, I assume that's what they mean by unique mechanic. But what I really want to see is unique mechanics for the player to interact with that end game mechanic. So, there might be like lots of bad stuff happening, but yeah, you've got a special alliance system that allows you to try to get the other order factions together to fight against the enemy, or you get the ability to start an elite vampire hunting college that starts to recruit special vampire hunting units that'll help you deal with the vampire endgame, or you know what I mean? So I think like mechanics for the enemy is cool and everything, but even mechanics for the enemy, if you I think it does, like that's the same. Rewards don't have to necessarily be items and stuff like that. It can be rewarding gameplay is a thing too. If you have a mechanic that the enemy has and you can figure out creative, interesting ways of utilizing that dealing with that mechanic, or I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good example. I can only think of bad examples, but I don't know, with the Nurgle plague, if you get a Nurgle plague that's going to wipe out the world or whatever, you might take the hard decision to just raise 3 or 4 settlements in a ring all around your entire empire, just to create a dead zone so the plague can't cross over, and so you've basically, so there's a special plague mechanic that's going to wipe out everything. You figure out how the only way to survive is by just destroying half of your empire and making a dead burnt zone around you, and I think that's where the reward comes for a strategy player, that interestingness of having those mechanics that you can interact with and you can figure out ways to deal with it in different creative ways or whatever. But if it's just there's a plague, it's just going to fuck up your entire empire, there's nothing you can do about it, you just got to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? There's no, for a strategy player, there's no strategy there, so that's, I think, with the mechanics, I'm trying to explain this idea of reward. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be items, it doesn't have to be units, it doesn't have to be whatever. It can be rewarding gameplay, but what I'm trying to say is the mentality of the idea of the game is to make you have fun. And the idea is to provide mechanics that are fun for you to interact with, and part of the fun can be getting fucked up, part of the fun can be bad shit happening to you that you freak out and you got to deal with it and stuff. But you also want it to be interesting, and you want to feel like you've got a bit of creative control over what's going on, or you can come up with some sort of strategy that's going to affect it and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know, just the whole concept of reward, maybe reward's the wrong word. But yeah, I just think, I think in the past they've gone wrong with just focusing too much on making everything bad for, and not enough on making it good. I don't know. Yeah, I've run out of words. But oh yeah, the Confederation requirement for Thorgrim victory. Another good point. That does suck, because, and so sort of on the same time thing of what we're talking about with the end times things being linear and necessarily might not be that much replayability. With those end game campaign victory conditions, if Thorgrim's victory condition is to confederate basically all of the other legendary lords, that means that you know, basically there's only one playstyle available for Thorgrim, which is to, you know, confederate all the other dwarf legendary lords. And like a lot of people like to confederate all of the legendary lords. Probably like the overwhelming majority of people like to confederate all of the legendary lords, to be honest. And I do like to confederate lords as well, but not all the time, you know. And I think again, one of the big parts about this game is the replayability, and so I might as well just let that play. So there's a bit of moving images on the screen. And yeah, just being like having
opportunity that landed on our,
you know, having only the ability to win by confederating everybody just means that if you wanted to, because like a really common one I like to do is to have one ally that you focus on. So if you're playing as Thorgrim, you ally with Ungrim, the Slayer King. He defends your northern borders while you focus on the south. You're like Dwarven brothers back to back for the whole campaign and stuff like that, you know. And if you confederate him, then his faction ceases to exist. Karakadrin is dead. They can never return. Like, yeah, Confederation nukes a faction and kills them worse than if they got wiped out. Because if a faction gets wiped out, you can bring them back. If you confederate them, that's it. You're never going to see that faction again for the rest of the campaign. So, like, for me, in a sense, Confederation feels like killing a faction, you know, in a sense, you know, like, yeah, I love seeing all the different banners of the dwarfs on the map, you know, and, you know, all the different tribes and clans and stuff. So yeah, I think that's, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I guess not much else to say about it really. I just hope that Confederation, I hope they get rid of that Confederation requirement for all of the lords. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they leave in the ability to, you have to confederate 2 dwarf factions, because I usually always confederate Malachi and
you can't just do one group.
Grombrindle, because they're not really kings anyway, so they're just random heroes basically, you know. So I feel like it's fine to bring them back in. Thorek as well, he's not really a king, he's kind of, you know, just kind of like a random hero. But like, yeah, but Ungrim, like, and Belegar as well. Belegar is kind of borderline. He's not really, he's kind of a king in waiting. He could be a king, but he could not be a king. But yeah, generally I like to not confederate Ungrim. If I'm playing as Ungrim, I don't want to confederate Thorgrim, and if I'm playing Thorgrim, I don't want to confederate Ungrim, because it just doesn't make sense to me, you know. So if I actually have to confederate them in order to win the game, that would really suck. Especially if the campaign rewards are really good. If the campaign rewards, if they ruin all the campaign rewards, so they're all really shit, then I guess it doesn't matter really.
Something that we wished we'd gone back to, and now we are.
I like the idea of the victory conditions being themed around the idea of the campaign themselves, but when it's so specific, it's just going to be linear campaigns with one path. Yeah, for sure. I don't mind with like Malice Darkblade. Like Malice's short campaign victory is really cool, because all it is just to, not Malice, sorry, Alithanar's short campaign victory is just to kill Malekith and then just conquer 30 settlements. So it leaves it completely open. Oh, and I think you have to retake Nagarath. So it leaves it kind of like pretty open for you to kind of do whatever you want, as long as you kill Malekith at some point. And you can either rush Malekith and kill him straight away, or you can keep that as a bit of a longer term goal to kill him a bit later on. And you get a massively good reward, because High Elves have such limited hero recruitment, plus 3 hero recruitment from doing their short campaign victory is like a massive incentive, and it feels like amazing when you get it, you know, and you suddenly have all these cool heroes. But yeah, some of the other ones, campaign victory conditions are just way too specific, and sometimes like far away and stuff, like, so you have to do like a massive investment just to do it. And that means that if you want to get the campaign victory condition, then you're basically limited, that you can't do anything that's too far away from where your objectives are. So yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I guess at the end of the day, you've always got, if you really want to do something different and you've played the campaign many times and you want to migrate to the end of the world or something, you can always just accept that you're not going to get the reward, you know.
We don't, so we'll be showing some of the victory conditions. We won't be showing some of the rewards, because I think they're all still going through levels. Generally, I always want to subvert the intended gameplay from my own bespoke campaign objectives. If the rewards are good and the requirements are too good, and if the victory rewards are too good and the requirements are too specific, that restricts replayability. This is
Oh yeah, somebody was talking about the vampire update. I didn't really think about that too deeply because it's just like they mentioned a whole bunch of stuff, but it's like we don't know what any of it is, so it was a bit hard to like sort of comment on it, you know, because it's like I'll read through it now. Like it all sounds cool, but we don't know anything about it, so we can't. It's hard to really talk about it, you know what I mean? But yeah, so they're gonna have vampire lairs. They talked about it a little bit. Basically, there's going to be specific locations, or I'm not sure if they're going to be random or they're going to be predetermined, but there's going to be like different these little layers around the place. Maybe they're going to be sort of like Bashiva's relic locations that they kind of spawn randomly or something. I think I would assume that the specific places will have them definitely, like, you know, like Drakenhof would definitely have one, and Templehof, and I don't know, whatever, you know, like there'd be like Nagashazar and stuff, you know, there'd probably be like specific vampire-y places that would definitely have them, maybe, but maybe there'll be like other random ones that you've got to find or something. But anyway, the vampire lairs, basically you take over the vampire lair and there's some sort of mechanic that allows you to create your own bespoke vampire lord that you can choose what bloodline they are. So they could be Lamian, they could be Blood Knight, they could be what do you call it, von Carstein or whatever. But in addition to that, there's like a menu of specific powers that you can give them as well. And you spend the new Blood Kiss currency. They call it Blood Kiss Plus. So there's going to be some sort of version of Blood Kisses, but I guess the currency is going to be changed a bit from what it was before. But basically, you spend your Blood Kisses to basically train a new vampire lord. I'm guessing it might be similar to the Kislev mechanic for Frost Maidens, you know, the Ice Court training mechanic or something like that. You'll have like, you know, a few different options or whatever that you can choose, and maybe depending on how much points you spend, or maybe it'll be like Throt's mechanic where you can choose from a menu or something. But anyway, yeah, the vampire lures, we're going to be able to create our own vampire lords. I don't know. I mean, I think, yeah, I guess there's definitely stuff to talk about that, but it's hard because you don't really know the specifics. It all comes down to the specifics of how it's done. If it's done well, it's going to be great. If it's done really badly, it's not going to be great, you know, so, you know, but you don't really know how it's going to be done. So, but I think I think that just at least knowing that much about it, that the vampire lairs allow you to create your own bespoke vampire lords with with special abilities that you choose. I think that's probably enough to start the conversation, you know, for people to like imagine ideas that you would like to have. Imagine, you know, particular powers that you would like to have on your vampire, or imagine like a combination of powers to make your ultimate vampire or whatever. So, you know, I guess the idea of this is to spawn discussion so that they can see feedback online, and, you know, dual focus tech tree. Yeah, they just said there's going to be like necromancer side of the tech tree and vampire side of the tech tree, and then there's going to be a generic unit side of the tech tree. Excuse me. Yeah, like, cool. You don't know, just like a real that again, it's like that's cool. Like that doesn't really mean anything to us, you know what I mean? Like it's not until we see the technologies, you know, like when I saw the new updated Lizardman technology tree, there was actually like a heap of really cool stuff in it, and it was happily surprising, you know. It was like, yeah, this is sick. But until you know what the actual skills are, you know, like all we know is it's going to be dual focus themed on vampires and themed on necromancers. Literally don't give a shit, you know what I mean? Like don't care, like that it's got like it's cool that it's got a vampire / necromancer theme, but that literally tells us nothing about it. You know, like we need to know what the specific texts are. So yeah, so we can't really, there's nothing to say about it really. Confederation feature, I think that people overwhelmingly like the new Confederation features that with dwarfs, you have the ability to confederate all the dwarfs. I mean, some people don't like that it's too hard to confederate, or one of the lords gets heaps of grudges and you're not getting any grudges and you can't get the lord you want, you know? But I don't think anyone doesn't like the fact that there is a mechanic that allows you to confederate, you know? Yeah, so that's good. Cool. New corpse resource from battle. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys picked up on many of the subtleties of the new system, but I gather I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know, but like basically at the moment we've got the raised dead battle marker system. So the only way to get more corpses, basically, or currency or whatever, is to have a battle where there's over 1,000 entities in each of the main armies that are fighting. Each of the main armies has over 14 units in it, and you'd get a total of 2,150 casualties or something in the battle or more. Then you get a raised dead marker, and then those raised dead markers basically enhance the amount of undead that you can recruit through raised dead in that province. So that's the current system that's going to be replaced by this new corpse resource system. I don't really know 100% how it's going to work, but I gather it's going to be a bit less like you probably don't need to hit those targets. You probably don't need to get more than 2,000 deaths in battle and have 14 units and all that kind of stuff. It's probably just going to be a bit more straightforward. Like, everyone that dies in the province adds one corpse to the pile or something like that. So it'll be a bit more, yeah, a bit more logical, and basically, because the current system is like, why are there all those requirements? There's not really any reason for it. So yeah, if it's just like everyone who dies makes a corpse, that's really understandable and obvious for everyone, I think, and that's cool. You can convert regions to new undead wasteland climate. So yeah, I think they said that that's somehow tied to your capital. So if you own the capital, or if you own I can't remember what they said the requirements are going to be. You own the capital, you own the entire region, then you have the chance to change it to a new undead wasteland climate. So you can basically terraform. So if it was like, so if you go into a territory that's like red or whatever, magical island or something that's red for vampires, then you can actually terraform that into undead wasteland climate, which is green for you, or maybe it's even better than green. Maybe it's green plus, and you get some extra bonuses that you would normally get. But they did mention that the enemies can if the enemy like destroys your capital, they can basically revert it back to the original type or whatever. Sounds like it's tied to the region province and will constantly grow instead of doing one pile and done. Yeah, well, you can do multiple piles at the moment, but yeah. Did they say something about it, the corpses just growing passively over time, or I assumed it would only die from battles? I mean, they definitely mentioned that the more battles, the more people that die in battle in the province, that would add to the corpses. I don't know if they mentioned anything about it passively growing, but I wouldn't be surprised if you would have a building. You probably have a building that you can build, like one of your buildings would add passive, 50 corpses per turn or 20 corpses per turn or something like that, so that you could yeah, so actually that'd be a cool thing as well. So instead of having like instead of having recruitment buildings, you have buildings that create corpses. I'm not sure how the law explanation for that would work. You're just like forcing peasants to sacrifice themselves or something, or you're like bringing prisoners in or slaves or something. I don't know. I'm picturing a recruitment panel that has all of the undead listed with the corpse cart. Can recruit whichever low tier you want, as long as there are enough corpses. Yeah, that's right. The corpses are the resource to recruit low tier units. So skeletons, zombies, graveguard, ghouls. Are crypt horrors tier 3 or tier 4? Crypt horrors are tier 3, aren't they? Yeah, crypt horrors. So yeah, everything that's like kind of low tier, but then anything that's high tier, like Zargulfs, Blood Knights, Black Coach, whatever, yeah, all the high tier stuff, you're gonna have to use blood kisses. So you're gonna have to choose between spending your blood kisses on high tier units or on building vampires with your vampire crypts and stuff. One thing I wasn't sure about with the vampire layers is whether I'm not sure if you can create multiple vampires. Like if you get a vampire lair, I'm not sure if you can then just use that as a vampire making furnace and just keep pumping them out as much as you've got blood kisses. I think it might be like you only get one vampire per. You might only get one vampire per vampire lair. That you find, so you might want to you might want to save up until you've got enough blood kisses to give them the absolute maximum number of highest possible tier abilities or whatever before you use the crypt, before you use the lair to make your vampire. So yeah, so they're reworking Ray's dead, so that it's just doesn't have blood, blood. Yeah, it doesn't have battle markers. You just raise based on the corpses. Reworking blood kisses, don't know how. Reworking bloodlines. That'd be interesting. It'd be good if they did a visual update for the bloodlines too, maybe, because I feel like. Do you feel like the Necroc is a little bit? I mean, I don't really care. I don't really like the Necrocs anyway. I don't really recruit them or use them or like them particularly aesthetically or anything anyway. The Lamians and the Von Carsteins are my favorite, but plenty of other people really like Strigoi and Necrocs. But yeah, I just thought that I feel like the Necrocs just look a bit generic, and the Strigoi just pretty much look the same as the normal Strigoi Lords. I don't even know if there's any difference really. Yeah, and I'd like to see I'd like to see them maybe get a little bit of a visual update, and maybe the and the Blood Knights as well. Like, I think is there only one model for the Blood Knights? Like, I feel like that's one thing I really don't like about the Blood Knight bloodline. It's just a little thing, but I feel like they just all look the same. I'd love it if there was at least 2 or 3 different heads or something to make them look a little bit different. I'm really hoping with the Confederation and or Bloodlines rework, they'll implement getting the Red Duke in there and give him a little rework as well, like maybe a new skill tree. Yeah. I don't think they've mentioned anything about the Red Duke, and it seems like a no-brainer that, like, you know, Lords of the End Times, vampires getting a rework. It'd be like wouldn't it be the perfect time for the Red Duke to get in there? So yeah, I don't know. I'd love to see that. I mean, I feel like it's going to happen. Like, I feel like the fact that Boris finally came in, I feel like that means we are going to get the Red Duke. Like, my theory on it is that maybe, well, depending on what happens, either we're going to get the Red Duke as sort of like a free LC update kind of thing, where he just becomes playable, and maybe they introduce, you know, something Red Duke themed to the vampires or whatever, like to go along with him or something. But he's already got Blood Knights and stuff. Or they're planning a Musion DLC. Like, I was thinking maybe one of the reasons why they have not introduced the Red Duke is because they really like the Red Duke and they really want to do him properly. Like, just the same as Toddbringer. Like, basically the reason why we didn't get Toddbringer playable all this time is because they knew that they were going to do a Ulrich themed, you know, DLC at some point, a Middenheim DLC, and so they wanted to keep him to do that. And so yeah, so I'm kind of thinking maybe that's why we don't see the Red Duke, because eventually there's going to be like a, you know, bespoke Musion vampire DLC with, like, you know, Bretonnian zombies and dark Musion knights and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe, I don't know. This is just a fan theory. I'm hoping with the Confederation's bloodline rework, they'll implement getting the Red Duke. Yeah, give them the rework for sure. Only really raise zombies. Everything else is expensive. Maybe a critical. Yeah, well, that was the one thing I was saying. Like, so they're basically saying they're going to bring in unit caps. I imagine it would only be unit caps for things that are above tier 3 or above. You know, not. I imagine there'll be some things that are uncapped. Like I mentioned, zombies and skeletons, and definitely maybe even Graveguard are just going to be like uncapped. You have as many as you want, or like if they had like zombies, skeletons, and ghouls, I'd probably expect them all to be uncapped for sure. I'm not sure about Graveguard, maybe not. But yeah, they were saying they're going to have the buildings are going to give you more unit cap. And yeah, I think it'd be good if the units gave unit cap and also gave upkeep reduction. Because I just feel like with vampires, like they should sort of have no upkeep, or they should have like super cheap upkeep. Like, I think that's why one of the reasons why so many people use massive zombie armies, because they're so cheap, and that just feels kind of right for vampires to me anyway. Like, you have these really powerful lords who are like kind of warrior wizards, and they just raise, you know, unlimited numbers of undead to serve them, and they don't have to worry about economy. They don't have to pay any wages. They don't have to feed them. They just have these like massive armies. But I mean, in reality, it probably takes a massive amount of magic power or whatever to maintain these armies. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, like the current system of like, you know, the same system that everyone else uses for maintaining their armies just doesn't quite feel right for vampires. And yeah, whereas having just endless armies of basically free zombies, that does feel right to me, at least anyway. But yeah, anyway, I think yeah, upkeep reduction on the if you're gonna have unit cap increases, I think you need upkeep reduction as well. So basically, like every time you build a new building, you get like 2 extra cap for Graveguard, but it also reduces the cost of the upkeep of Graveguard by 5%. So by the time you've got, if you build 20 barracks, then you can make Graveguard free. You know, that'd be pretty cool, I reckon. If they wanted, they could sort of scale it down so that certain units can't be you know, maybe they could have the same system for Vargulfs or whatever, but they each one only reduces their upkeep by 2% or something. So you'd have to have like 50 buildings before you'd get them down to 0. So that it's not as easy to you know, not as easy to reduce it or whatever. Or maybe it's a curve, you know, like the more you build, the less bonus, the less upkeep reduction you get from it. So like the first couple give you 10% upkeep reduction, then 5, then 3, then 2, then 1, and you know, and then after that you can build as many as you want and just reduce it by 1%, something like that.
Things that are self-explanatory, like there's a new tech tree. It's split between 3 sections: a necromancy section, a vampire.
Yeah, like I said, can't really say much about the tech tree because we don't know what is on it.
That will match.
And right, 3. Who is
Nurgle?
The triplets.
The triplets.
Yeah, Nurgle being part of Chaos Warrior is pretty cool. I mean, Glutkin being part of Chaos Warriors is pretty cool. Obviously, the other Chaos factions are also going to get are also going to get all the Nurgle units. So that's cool. But yeah, I like the idea of that being a Chaos Warrior faction. So also, I guess all the other Chaos Warriors are going to also get access to these Nurgle units. Well, I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm guessing Kolek Archaon will get some of them at least.
Smash down their village and
Sigvald's, so they're going to change, they said they're going to change Sigvald to be a Slanesh Lord. So I assume they mean he's still going to be a Warrior of Chaos, but he's going to be Slanesh. He's going to have bespoke kind of Slanesh stuff, or not necessarily bespoke, but he's going to have like, basically be like Azazel. They'll probably like maybe give him a tech tree that's more like Azazel's or whatever.
In that barter.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, and then I guess that means that he won't get access to, you know, any Nurgle stuff.
Warriors of Chaos.
And there's a few reasons for that.
Yeah, I know. It sounds. I like. One thing I like about this is that there's a lot of stuff in it. Like, you know, there's just like lots of different factions getting talked about, getting touched. This one, a lot of the focus of this was on the update, not on the actual DLC. Like they obviously did a big showcase of the Nurgle stuff that's coming with the DLC, but apart from that, they were mainly talking about the free update that's coming with 8.1 and 9.0. Actually.
This was on nice.
What was so 9.0 is the DLC. So what's did they say when 8.1 is coming? What's 8.1? When's 8.1 happening?
But I think
I actually didn't even think about that. So some of this stuff is coming in 8.1 and some of it's coming in 9. And for those of you who are wondering about the siege rework, they said the siege rework is not in 8.1 or 9. Siege rework is 9.1. So after the DLC, the next kind of major update after that is going to be the siege rework. But yeah, did they actually say what's going to be in 8.1 and what's going to be in 9.0?
I've got current on the left and I've got what we're planning on the right.
Yes.
Care to talk to us a little? Right. Shall we start talking about 9.0?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Ready? Whoa.
So what was 8.1?
Sean,
Associate Design Director.
Clarify then. So 8.1 we spoke about in the show and tell, and we spoke about the campaign AI prioritization that's going to be changing there.
Oh, okay. So 8.1 is like a patch. It's just like an update, fix some fixes and shit.
So I think it's more of a linear change in tasks. There are some like caveats that we'll have in the patch notes about where behavior isn't worse, just not as improved, and most of that is linked to customization of endgame crises. So if you're doing wacky things with your endgame crises, the AI may struggle with that. But overall, for a normal settings game, we're hoping to see some big improvements from AI kind of bobbling around. We didn't have a screenshot for that because it's very hard to get a screenshot of just AI over loads and loads of different tests. But the release date for 8.1 currently is next week.
Yeah, so, not long to wait.
No,
No,
so
9.1 is a siege afterwards.
We'll have patch notes detailing what the changes we made are, where you'll see the biggest changes, but that will be coming next week. So look forward to that then.
Oh, so 8.1's coming out next week. Cool. So we're gonna get a new we're gonna have new campaign AI next week. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's really interesting. Wow. I hope it's good. Like, yeah, I hope it's interesting. I'd kind of almost wouldn't mind if it was a bit like over the top, kind of like when we did those betas, and then if they like tune it back down again after they get some more feedback or whatever, because it's kind of like fun in a way. Like, it's kind of fun when they have like those things because it's like a bit of an event. Like you get to play in a little alternate universe where Warhammer's a bit different for a while, and then they're like, oh no, that was pretty extreme. We'll revert that back or whatever. But you get to have like a little, feel like a little special moment in time where you get to play a special version of the game or whatever. But yeah, anyway, that's not what they're doing though. But yeah, hopefully the new update will be good.
Right, shall we start talking about 9.0?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Ready? Whoa. 9.0's got a lot.
So Tech said this is not the last DLC. Yeah, no, I don't think it is the last DLC. I think that's correct.
Talking about firstly the Siege update that we're looking at, because that's 9.1.
No, did someone say it was the last DLC? Yeah, no, it's not. It's not the last DLC as far as we know.
We're not talking about Neferata.
No.
I've not heard that it's the last DLC. I don't think it
It
is.
still exists, still being worked on. But I think the intent that we have for when we show Neferata is to show gameplay. Right? Rather than to talk
cool.
over pictures or
Yeah,
screenshots.
guess we sort of covered it.
So what we will be talking about, and what we're starting off with, is the only thing I mentioned.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which
Not
is,
sure what should we do now then.
end times.
Do you guys? I mean, I probably should go to bed, but I'm kind of awake now.
Do we want to dive right in with
Maybe
that,
I could
or
jump
should
on
we
and
put
play a bit more
one?
Bannerlord and just hang around
So
for another couple of hours in case you guys
we're gonna
want
break down a few
to
different
chat,
parts
in
of
case
it.
you have any
We'll
more
start by
thoughts and
talking about
stuff.
End games, end times.
I think they mentioned when they first showed the end times
But then
DLC
we've got
that
a whole
it's not
host
going to
of
be the
topics
last
we're
one.
just going to touch on. So
Yeah,
keep along
I
with us
don't
for the
like.
journey.
Yeah,
We
it's
don't know
not the
how long
last
we're gonna spend
DLC.
each topic. I'll see how much information
no
I can get
one.
out of you guys,
I've never heard
and
it
then
said
we'll
that it
move
was
on.
going to be the last
All right,
DLC.
So starting off, shall we talk about end games?
I think last time Rich said
ready
is
for the
that we've still
chart?
got way more stuff that we want to show. With way more stuff that we want to do. So
Let's go.
All right. So
yeah, it may be the last. It may be the last DLC of this
as you can see
kind.
there, I've got
Like it
Current
might be the
on
last
left, and I've got what we're
DLC
planning
that's
on
going to
the
be this
right.
big.
Kev
They
talks
might
us a
be
little bit
shifting
about what the
to
current
more,
endgame is like.
more modest kind of DLCs in future, like the character packs and stuff like that.
Yeah, so as it stands now,
I guess it'll depend on how much money they made out of Bathsheba. I still feel like Bathsheba was a bit of a bad idea because it's like they're doing these character packs and they want to test out whether character packs are viable, whether people like character packs, whether how worth it's going to be for them and how much and then once they know how worth it is, then they know how much they can invest in it, but then they choose this like super obscure character that no one gives a shit about, so I don't know if yeah, exactly, that's my point. Did anyone buy it? I don't know. There certainly wasn't much buzz about it on my channel. Like I did like one or two Bathsheba streams. People were talking about it a lot during those streams. I did a couple of other streams around that time of other factions, but like talking about Bathsheba or attacking Bathsheba or whatever. There's a little bit of discussion about but really not much. You know what I mean? It wasn't like my chat was going crazy with people talking about Bathsheba. So and like no one's mentioned, but like literally no one's mentioned Bathsheba for the last few weeks since they got released. Like don't think anyone's asked me a single question about Bathsheba. Maybe it's because they know that I don't know much. I don't really play it much. But yeah, sorry, Ronan. I'm not trying to say that Tiger Man is shit or that I don't like Bathsheba or anything like that. What I'm trying to say is like if this was meant to be their test for whether character packs are viable or how popular character packs are going to be, I think doing Bathsheba as the first one was like a super bad idea. You know what I mean? If they had done a character pack pack for the Red Duke, and the Red Duke had, you know, they'd done a Red Duke character pack with Dark Knights of Bretonia and shit like that. You know what I mean? I reckon that would have been way more. People would have been way more into it. You know, like. But actually, that's not even a good example. Like, that's a really good.
That's effectively how it works.
Yeah, if it was Boris, if Boris wasn't going to be, Boris is a good example. If Boris wasn't going to be a DLC faction, if Boris had if they had done a character pack for like Boris plus Tutagen Guard plus Knights of the White Wolf or something, then people would have gone fucking crazy for that shit. Hey, Lawmaster Sotek just rated us on YouTube. Thanks so much, Lawmaster. Welcome everyone coming over from Lawmaster stream.
All the non-chaos factions.
Hey, Great Bull Grudges, welcome.
Maybe there's
is that Nathan?
Yeah.
Is that the real Nathan? So your name looks funny because YouTube
But
did
they
something
aren't
to
the
it.
big moment. The end game scenarios are the big moments.
Yep. And one of the things that we'll call out there. So what we're going to
Not
do
Nathan.
Is
Oh,
dive
okay.
into just a couple of
No worries.
very
It's
work
like
in progress
another Great Bull
shots
Grudges.
of Archaon's
No worries.
in-game event.
But yeah, like
but very
so I guess I'm Kurt Hellborg. I would go crazy with Kurt Hellborg. Schwarzhelm. So I'm just a bit like I'm just kind of thinking like if this was meant to be a test case for character packs, they chose like the worst character to do it. Potentially, but I mean maybe it sold really well and maybe they think it was a good, you know, I guess I'm just saying, you know, maybe Bashiva was a success and they're happy and they're going to keep doing character packs exactly the same as Bashiva but with different factions. That's good. But if they if they did the Bashiva one and it was like, well, we won't bother doing character packs anymore, I think that would be like,
well, shall we talk about
a bit silly because I think if they had just done a way more popular character than Bashiva, then it would have been way more popular. You know?
A little bit.
Great, exactly. Bugman's character pack, but these are all character packs that hopefully they're going to do. Like I reckon, actually, what I was talking about before, like why they haven't done the Red Duke because they're probably planning on doing a Red Duke DLC. And I think the Red Duke would be perfect for a character pack. Like I think you could do an entire Musion faction. Like there's enough stuff to just there's probably enough stuff to build a whole faction. But in terms of the relative importance compared to all the other lords and all that sort of stuff, I think I think the Red Duke would just like one or two units, a couple of heroes or something, or one or two units and a hero, similar to what you got with Bashiva, would be cool. Bugman's Joseph Bugman would be great. Kurt Hellborg.
You weren't playing as him.
All of those ones would be great, and I think people would really go crazy for some of those characters. I think they care a lot about gameplay and about providing different. There you go, Aknarovich. How hyped are you about those VC changes? Well, as I was saying, it's like it depends whether it's good or not. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the VC stuff, it's like you don't really know how it's going to be actually implemented. So it's like with the tech tree, how they said they're going to like theme. The tech tree is going to be themed on half vampire, half necromancer. Okay, cool, whatever. That sounds cool. Like, why not? That sounds like a good idea. But it's like, in terms of like whether it's good or not, no fucking idea. Until you can see what the actual tech tree, the actual technologies are, you can't really have any opinion about it. And it's sort of the same with everything. Like, I think the concept of changing the battle marker system, which was a bit, opaque. Like you didn't really know how it worked. You didn't really know what was going on. Well, I mean, most of us here probably did, but for the average person, like playing it for the first time, it's not very obvious or anything. Whereas the new corpse system, I think, is going to be a lot more. We're just immediately obvious how it works. Like if someone dies, you get an extra. If everyone someone's die, you get an extra corpse. It's just much more easy, to understand. So I think that conceptually, I think that change is good. There's the unit cap thing. I think is a little bit controversial. Personally, I feel like unit caps have done well, like the Chaos Dwarf unit caps. Actually make you value your units more and make the units feel more special and make you enjoy them more. Whereas unit caps done like Tomb Kings, I don't know. I feel like it feels really restrictive and stuff.
new UI.
Maybe part of the reason is
new
because the
music.
Tomb
I've seen
King's
quite a lot of
basic
stuff
units are
like
not very good, but yeah, I don't know. Tomb Kings has got a good rework though, and they are a lot better than they used to be. But I think they still have that essential. Yeah, this it kind of comes back to what I was talking about before about rewards. You know, like I think the Tomb Kings is one of those factions that's still designed intentionally to be shit. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's like.
We'll have that cinematic.
Like, you know, I think the concept behind the Tomb Kings is that people, like some people, don't want a really fast campaign. They don't want to be super powerful straight away. They want to have a slow build up until they eventually get the satisfaction of unlocking everything and blah blah blah. And it's like,
so what is?
yeah,
how are we stopping
I think most people enjoy a campaign that has good pacing, not everything given to you too early and it feels unearned and empty, and not super slow and unrewarding, so you feel like you don't get anything. You know,
there are other ways to reduce ward save.
But like
again,
no one really enjoys
all of
just
could change.
their campaign being shitter. You know, like no, that's not explaining it properly. But like, yeah, I think I don't know. I can't really explain it properly. But I think like I still think Tomb Kings kind of has that Warhammer 1-ish idea of having like punitive mechanics that are intentionally meant to be hard, and they're like, you know, some people enjoy the challenge, and it's like, yeah, you enjoy the challenge if it's worth it. You know what I mean? You enjoy a challenge when you're like, I'm going to do this hard thing because I'm going to get something really good. And it's like, you don't really enjoy the challenges like, I'm going to do this hard thing, and if I overcome it, I get to be just about on the same level as other factions, but not really as powerful as the most powerful ones. You know, if I overcome this hard thing, I just get to be the same as everyone else. You know what I mean? Like, whereas other factions are like, you know, you do this moderately hard thing and you get some super sick shit that you can use. Then you know.
We're not going to talk about the other two.
So yeah, I don't know.
We are going to save that for you guys to
I like early game Tomb Kings, plenty to do. I like early game Tomb Kings, plenty to do, and nice looking. Mid game shitter is the word. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I'm not an expert on Tomb Kings, but yeah, maybe that was a bad example, but yeah. The Chaos Dwarfs, the Chaos Dwarf unit caps, I think are really cool because you get to sort of have a little bit of each thing, and the way that the unit caps go up, like get more expensive as you go up, so you can quite easily get like 3 or 4 blunderbuss units, but then you know, if you want to have 10, 20, 30 blunderbuss units, then it just gets really hard to get more and more and more. But so it doesn't like, I don't know, it's like exactly what I was trying to explain with the Tomb Kings, like, but on the positive side of it, the Chaos Dwarfs feel like exactly how you want it to feel. Like, you've got to do some hard stuff, but it feels really rewarding when you do it, you know? That's like what you want, you know? Whereas, I feel like for me, the Tomb Kings feel a bit like you've got to do some hard stuff and you just get nothing special after you do it, you know?
Yeah, Douglas. I think that the big thing is between Warhammer 1 lighting and the setup of
lack of unit cost and upkeep. Yeah, the economy is like kind of one of the things that makes strategy games interesting, you know, and not having, just basically removing the economy is like, you know, in a sense, like it's like the whole Eltharian infinite money thing, you know. It's like, yes, you want to do the thing to get infinite money because you're going to be really powerful, but then for the rest of the game, you have infinite money, which actually makes the game less complex and less interesting in a sense, even though it's potentially more fun in a certain way or whatever.
A little change to weapons.
Dwarf units, the dwarfs work with unit caps because their units are super strong. Like you want to unlock the, because that's another thing too with the unit caps with the early, especially in early Tomb Kings. It's like you increase the unit cap for fucking, I don't know, Nehekara war for fucking skeleton archers, and you get some skeleton archers. You know what I mean? That's sort of exactly what I was saying. Like, it's like big whoop. You know what I mean? Whereas with the Chaos Dwarfs, you increase unit cap at the start, and you get Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses, and you're like, fuck yeah, these things are fucking sick. They're destroying. You know, straight away. You know, you have that like really cool reward. But it's funny, like Chaos Dwarfs have a really an extra complex economy to balance, but that's actually more fun than having like no economy to balance. Is this CA as in devs? Yeah, this is that's Sean and Rich. They're two of the main developers on the Warhammer 3 content. And that's Josh. He's the former content creator
picture of him with all of them around.
content creator
Yeah, it looks a bit like
liaison
Justice League.
guy. Like he's my
Or the
main
Unjustice
contact at
League.
Creative Assembly. But I think he's moving away from looking after us content creators, and he's moving more into this kind of being he's essentially being the content creator, the official content creator for Creative Assembly kind of thing, and hosting their shows and stuff like that.
There are ways that the devastation happens,
Blight
not
Kings
just the
look a lot
endgame,
more
but
like armored
the
plague
games,
ogres.
core mechanics
Yeah, they
actually
kind of do, aren't they? But I think they're a bit
use
shorter.
killing the world.
They're only kind of like a head. They're like a head higher than infantry, whereas ogres are more like infantry come up to their belt. They're below their chest, I would say.
Start on the map if you're not playing as him.
Yeah, so they're a bit
He's
they're a bit
still
smaller.
The same place, but if he becomes the end game,
They look chonky, though. They look cool.
That escalation of like,
Build-up, right?
Short.
where's the bad guy gone?
Indeed.
Suddenly he's there.
Skaven are good because
If
you can
you're
get tier
playing
4-5
as
settlement pretty much early on, so your units
So
keep up
as
with
it
your lord
stands
power.
today, work
Yeah.
in progress. We don't do this end game if you're playing as Chaos, because all of Chaos unite into one
Dwarf should
single
really have strict
we
unit
take
caps.
the rest of the world.
Yeah, like
With the injustice
I'd
process.
really like
So
it if they
we felt
brought
if you
in
were
like
playing-
Pete personally. I'd really
you're
like it if they
playing
brought in
as
unit
a
caps
Chaos
for a
faction,
lot more
you didn't really
units.
have that big
Um,
moment of like,
but,
oh, I've got a new
um,
enemy, I've got a new thing to challenge, because they would effectively be
like not for everything, but just like maybe like steam tanks for the Empire. Thunder barges for the dwarfs.
However,
Star dragons, especially, but maybe all dragons
how does the end
for
game
the
work if you
elves,
are?
So you can get like one or two, no problem. But as if you try and have 3, 4, 10, or whatever, you know what I mean? It starts getting harder and harder to
Triplets.
the triplets.
harder and harder to get them. That's so this is Glotkin,
Glotkin.
the Glotkin.
All its glory, and that is the three brothers, Ethrak, Otto, and Gurk. So they come as
And then it shows them it shows it stomping around,
Otto's at
wrecking
the very
some
top.
infantry and stuff.
He's our super fan of Nurgle. He's the true believer of the three brothers. Ethrak is the
And I'll
caster,
bring
somewhat in the
out
middle.
these are the
with
Blight
third-
Kings.
I think there was a thread about this I saw yesterday, debating how we would do them. Would they be one unit? Would they be variants?
There are factions that should have caps and don't.
And how
The problem is that
three
Tomb King
variants.
caps is the
Yeah,
caps
all
on
three
just normal units like archers is just silly.
So, here,
Yeah,
these are gonna side
yeah,
with
I feel
we've
like
got
yeah,
the
I think yeah, they
base
should
variant,
definitely that's a good
axe
call.
and
They should just
shield,
remove those
and we've
fucking
got
cap
two
on
axes.
archers. Why do they have a
I've
cap
got
on
to say, I
archers?
love the stomachs.
That would like just that single change would make the early game feel a bit less shit, I reckon.
And then
Not that necessarily the early game feels shit. Like some people like really like the Tomb Kings. Yeah, but I think like what I was trying to say before is like I think the concept of saying we want the Tomb Kings to be a bit of a slower roll faction, we want it to be a bit more of a build up and stuff like that. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's good that there's an asymmetrical balance between the factions and like the factions aren't balanced at all basically, and then you have a different experience. It's fine that the Tomb Kings campaign is way slower and way weaker at the start than other factions and stuff like that. Like I think all that stuff's fine, and I agree that it definitely appeals to a certain player type more. So certain players will like that more than other stuff. All that, no problem with that. I just think I think you still got to be constantly aware of the reward for the player. Like I feel like it's like a game science thing, which I'm sure Creative Assembly is aware of. That it's all about those dopamine hits. How often do you let the player have those dopamine hits, and like how much work do they have to put in for them, and how do you deliver them? And like I feel like with Tomb King's early game for me, like I just don't get enough time. I don't get enough of those. Oh, I got a new unit that's really cool, or I just got this new unit in battle that looks awesome. Like you do get them, but they're just a bit like not. It doesn't feel like I think one of the big things about the Tomb Kings is at the start of the game, I don't feel like I have much agency. Like I don't feel like I can really do anything. I just have to go through the motions until I unlock better shit. Whereas with Chaos Dwarfs, you can be like, right, I'm just gonna go all out on armaments and just unlock as much stuff as I can, or I'm just gonna ignore armaments and go for hobgoblins or whatever. I think people want to feel like they have agency, and they want to get those dopamine. They want to get those rewards. They want to get those dopamine hits, whether that be using a cool unit in battle or getting a magic item. Having a mechanic that you feel like you can exploit, or have some strategy for dealing with a mechanic to get lots of resources or something, like all those things kind of give you that little dopamine hit.
Giants biggest weakness is the
early casket makes up for the archers a little bit. Yeah, the early casket is a good example of that that sort of little reward dopamine hit thing that I'm talking about. Like when you first get your first casket, you're like, you're like, cool, this is a cool unit. It's so impactful. It's a great unit, and you immediately think, oh, how can I get more of them? And like you've got, there's a cooldown on it or whatever, so you're like, yeah, as soon as that cooldown's up, I'm going to get another one or whatever. But again, it's like, now how I get the new one is I just wait. You know what I mean? I can't do anything. I just wait. Like, and I think that's the thing. Yeah, I think that's one of my main things with Tomb Kings. It's just like I feel like I don't have that player agency to deal. Like a lot of things that I want to interact with, I just can't. I just have to wait.
I don't think we get to see Ribbon. There you go, Yellow Ball. So reducing the leadership of everyone.
Also get a bit of variety. Most early game Tomb Kings is like 40,000 skeleton spearmen. Yeah, I think that if they did it a bit more like the Chaos Dwarfs, in that you could, maybe get access to some more unit variety earlier.
We have
that might be good.
One more unit that we have to reveal. And
Siege Giant. Siege Giant's got directional armor plating on the front as well, like the steam tank, which is pretty cool. So you can ping off cannonballs and stuff.
Nothing that I can see in there.
Pretty sweet.
All right. This was so difficult to film.
Yeah, well, that was a good little. Thanks again to Lawmaster Sotek for the raid, and Lionheart as well.
He is.
Two great creators. I'm very happy to have them as buddies. Often host me, and very nice to be hosted by some bigger creators. But yeah, and all the guys coming in from those chats kind of spawned off a bit more. I was pretty much just about to end the stream when you guys came in, and then you got me all hyped up again. Festus double giant meta in domination is back. Yeah, that is kind of the thing that inspires me to play a Festus campaign often. Just the idea of having giants with the healing aura and everything. But yeah, giants don't look that badass though. They're kind of a bit of a comedic unit almost. They look a bit gorpy and stuff. Whereas the Siege Giant looks fucking pretty scary, doesn't it? It looks pretty cool. I really like the is it the ogres that get the giant with the face mask? I think that's my favorite one. He looks fucking sweet. Beastmen eating good. Yeah, the Beastmen will get everything.
Yeah, but we've done quite a few.
I think there's like a couple.
I'm pretty excited. I think I'm way more excited about Glotkin now because I knew Glotkin was coming before this. But I didn't actually. Maybe I wasn't paying attention or something. But I didn't actually notice that he was a Chaos Warriors Lord. I just assumed it was. I just assumed he was Noggle.
Well, let's say the debate continues, and potentially
Siege Giants are produced by the Chaos Dwarfs. Oh yeah, so Chaos Dwarfs will also get the Siege Giant. So Chaos Warriors will get it. Noggle will probably get it as well. And actually, do you reckon Noggle will get the Siege Giant? No, Noggle probably won't get the Siege Giant. He didn't look Noggly.
I'm not seeing.
So Chaos Warriors will get the Siege Giant, and probably Chaos Dwarfs as well.
I'd be surprised if I did.
Which lords are known to be arriving in 9.0? Neferata, Glotkin, Boris.
Come a long way, the beasties.
They have.
Was there another one?
We'll see if they get a little bit more. Okay.
Neferata, Boris, Glotkin.
Whoa, we're back.
Yeah, I think that's the
our
other three that they've announced. Yeah.
Another Lord of the End Times and some more of
I doubt Noggle would get the Siege Giant from the Vibes perspective. Yeah, he doesn't look like a Noggle unit, does it?
Look at the smiles.
And
yeah. So there is one more who we won't be talking about.
One more they promised to reveal in next stream. Isn't there? I think there's 5 lords though, isn't there? Like, isn't there 4 lords in the DLC plus a free DLC lord as well?
Revealed. So we've got Nagash.
So,
we've got Boris.
Oh, Nagash.
During the show and tell, and now we've got Glotkin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so Neferata is the one that they haven't announced yet.
Exactly. But people really liked it last time that we didn't stop.
Or is Neferata going to be free LC or something?
We gave them teasers.
They've confirmed Neferata, haven't they? I think they were talking about Neferata earlier in the campaign. Earlier in the stream.
And I have desperately tried.
Oh, they showed her in the video already.
Harder than last time. Because I think the Empire one.
Boris is the FLC, I think. Not sure. No, I don't think Boris is the FLC. Boris is not. Boris is the DLC because we're getting the 2 Division Guard, remember, and the Knights Panther and stuff.
We have 4 teasers here. of 4 different units.
Neferata is the FLC,
None of these
right.
units are ones we have already.
So Neferata is the FLC. We're getting a vampire rework.
So we'll see if people are able to work.
So we're getting
out.
so we're getting a vampire rework, but we're not getting a
hope
vampire
they're joking,
DLC.
right? Because I took so
per
many
se.
different snips to
We're
try and
getting
work
a
out which ones are due.
Nagash DLC,
I think one
whatever
of these
that
is
looks
much
like.
more obvious than the others, but we'll see. Someone's correctly guessed.
I'm guessing, yeah, and also I'm guessing a lot of it's going to be. So this is an End Times DLC. So I'm guessing they're going to be drawing a lot from End Times units. Like were all of the units that they showed us End Times units?
I think it was all just kind of
like is the Siege Giant the Siege Giant a unit that came out during the End Times in Warhammer Tabletop?
One person had a conflicting opinion until
and the Basilisk and stuff.
Someone put a picture of the
Or
model.
doesn't I don't really know
So,
like what units were End Times. I know the Blight Kings are End Times, the Wrathmongers are End Times.
A lot of people trying to work out if they are Vermin Lords.
That's it. Yeah,
these are all units coming with Block-in as part of the Warriors of Chaos roster.
Yeah, the Blight Kings look good though. Like I feel like the Wrathmongers and the Skull
see if there's any questions. So the giant
dudes, like they sort of don't really match the rest of the Khorne roster. They look kind of too clean and too demonic or something, you know. Whereas I feel like the Blight Kings, even though they're an in-games unit, I feel like they just look super Nurgle. Like they just look really cool and Nurgly, you know, like, and they really match the rest of the Chaos Warrior Nurgle theme.
Find my pieces of paper and we can start to wrap things up.
Midland roster is also older than. Oh yeah, true. Yeah, so Midlands are not. Yeah.
We stole it.
Yeah, no, good call, Meme Daddy. Yeah, that was exactly what I was. So yeah, so there's gonna be some End Times units. Yeah, all I was gonna say is like, I'm guessing that maybe Nagash's stuff will be more.
Enjoyed the Live.
Skaven not getting love. Well, there's one more Lord to be announced. And there's strong speculation that it's going to be a Skaven Lord.
If you like the format of this and other bits you'd like to see, you will be hearing from us next, I think, generally in streams.
Sigvald's moving from Warriors Chaos to Slaanesh. They said he's becoming a Slaanesh Lord, but I mean, I hope he's not moving from Warriors Chaos to Slaanesh. I assume that they said that Sigvald is becoming a Slaanesh champion. So I believe they mean he's going to be a champion of Chaos like Azazel. So he's still going to be a Warrior of Chaos, but he's going to be Slaanesh themed or whatever.
Launching later this summer. I'll still be here. We'll be chatting 8.
But yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I only just watched what you guys watched. But yeah,
plenty of other streams on the way. Not just about Warhammer 3. Sorry, guys.
Knights Panther also not End Times. Yeah, no, like
Times, the next time you'll hear from us.
But yeah, so I guess basically it's not like it's all End Times, but it's like they were saying like they wanted to bring in as like the End Times units they wanted to do. They wanted to wait until now, I guess. I
think we managed to get through everything in decent.
What's the difference? Seemed like they were saying he was moving to Slaanesh. No, that's because the DLC the Chaos Warriors DLC was called Champions of Chaos, and each of the champions was a Chaos Warrior faction, but with specific bespoke like Chaos God stuff. So like Valkyr's got the Chaos Warriors war mechanic or whatever, and she's got the extra movement replenishment and all that stuff that Khorne gets. Festus has got the plagues that Nurgle gets. You know what I mean? So basically, it's saying that Sigvald is going to be a Slaanesh champion as well, like Azazel, instead of being a undivided Lord. At least that's how I read it. One thing I was thinking about was it'd be cool if they made Sigvald a dual character, so you could play. So Sigvald would appear in the Warriors of Chaos roster, and he would also appear in the Demons of Chaos roster. But they won't do that because it would screw you up with DLC. So like if you bought Warhammer 3, yeah, that's right. You can't move Sigvald to Slaanesh because of the DLC. And you can't have him be a dual lord in both because of the DLC as well. Because if he was a dual lord, they could make it. They could make it that if you own the if you own Warriors of Chaos and you own Warhammer 3, then you can play him as a Slaanesh lord because you get all the basic Slaanesh units from from Warhammer 3. He already has the seduction mechanic, I thought, and army abilities. I don't get it. He doesn't have. He has like undivided tech tree, and he counts as an undivided lord in terms of like getting other like legendary heroes and stuff like that, you know. And yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they are moving him to. Well, no, they can't move him to Slaanesh because they can't. He can't become like he literally can't become part of the Slaanesh faction because they already sold him to us as a Warrior of Chaos faction. Like if you bought the DLC of Sigvald to use him with Warriors of Chaos, and then you log into the game and fucking you can't use him as a Warrior of Chaos anymore. Like you know what I mean? They can't do that. But yeah. So essentially, they're going to make him more Slaaneshi in some way. Yeah, because currently Sigvald counts as an undivided chaos, Warrior of Chaos for somehow, but they're going to make him a Slaanesh Warrior of Chaos. I was happy they mentioned Siege Rework. Yeah, so for anyone who missed it, Siege Rework is coming 9.1, so after the Lords of the End Times DLC. Yeah, no, he's not getting moved to Slaanesh, yeah. But yeah, yeah, no, I was thinking about playing a bit of Bantalard, playing a bit more my warrior priest of my rogue warrior priest of Sigmar that thinks Luther Huss didn't go far enough and is out to like destroy the Empire and remake it in Sigmar's image. Sorry, I made that sound really hype. I'm thinking about playing like a super chill Bannerlord campaign where a super chill session of Bannerlord where I just am pretty sleepy and I just kind of like fuck around doing some stuff, and it's not going to be very exciting. But we can potentially keep chatting about Warhammer, but keep chatting about Total War while I do that.
Welcome to Warhammer 3 What's Next Live. You guys have done a couple of What's Next.
Definitely one.
We did one? Or was that the show and tell?
If it was a start choice to play Warriors of Chaos or Slayer Fashion, I think they could do that if they wanted to. They could make it. There is an Avalon already. They could make it that if you've got Warriors, they could make it like a bonus thing that if you've got Warriors of Chaos and you've got Warhammer 3, then you can play Sigvald as a Slaanesh character as well. But they couldn't take him out of the Warriors of Chaos. They could only add him. They could only add it on. But yeah.
Two faces I imagine most people watching this are pretty familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, well, it seems like the the chat about Total War's cooled down a little bit now.
About the What's Next video is we were getting a lot of comments of people wanting there to be a bit more
maybe I'll
a bit more of a back and forth, and for us to maybe be able to spend more time to explain some of the things we show. So we're trying this out. It's a live format of a What's Next. So if you've seen the What's Next videos, we've got, I think, maybe
I'll do a poll. I'll have a cigarette. I'll do a poll, and I'll come back.
And I think they're mostly screenshots in those. So we've got some videos, we've got some screenshots. We are going to start off with patch 8.1, but the patch 8.1 stuff is going to be very quick because the focus of this really is 9.0 and our redacted reveal, which I'm very glad to see says redacted. And I
right, the wrong you guys can respond to this poll while I'm out having a cigarette.
Just to clarify,
if you would like to see some Bannerlord campaign, then mark in the affirmative.
AI prioritization that's going to be changing.
And
I think it's more of a linear
if we get enough votes,
there are some
then we'll
caveats that we'll have in the patch notes about where
we'll play some Warrior Priests of Sigmar Bannerlord after this.
Customization
right.
of endgame.
I'm just going to go grab a cigarette, get myself in order, go to the bathroom,
and then I shall return. But overall, for a normal settings game, we're hoping to see some big improvements from AI kind of bobbling around. We didn't have a screenshot for that because it's very hard to get a screenshot of just AI over loads and loads of different tests. But the release date for 8.1 currently is next week.
Yeah, so, not long to wait.
No. So hopefully you guys will have your hands on it soon. We'll have patch notes detailing what the changes we made are, where you'll see the biggest changes, but that will be coming next week. So look forward to that then. Right, shall we start talking about 9.0?
Yeah.
Ready? Whoa. 9.0's got a lot in it.
Yeah, we're busy.
We are. So 9.0, we are not today talking about, firstly, the Siege update that we're looking at, because that's 9.1. Mm-hmm. Right? And you're not seeing a 9.1 at that bottom bar. So there's no.
That's a 0.
We're not talking about that. Yeah. We're not talking about Neferata.
No. Well, not really.
Well, that's the most we'll say the name. It still exists, still being worked on.
Yeah.
But I think the intent that we have for when we show Neferata is to show gameplay, right, rather than to talk over pictures or screenshots. So what we will be talking about and what we're starting off with is the only thing I mentioned, which is the end times structure update, I think is what we're referring to it as. Do we want to dive right in with that?
All the big free update.
Well, yes. So 9.0, we're going to break down a few different parts of it. We will start by talking about end games, end times. But then we've got a whole host of other topics we're just going to touch on. So keep along with us for the journey. We don't know how long we're going to spend on each topic. I'll see how much information I can get out of you guys, and then we'll move on. All right? So, starting off, shall we talk about end games?
Sure.
Are you ready for the chart?
If I said no, this would be annoying for your transition, wouldn't it?
It would be very annoying.
Let's go.
All right. So, end games.
End games.
They're changing.
Yes.
As you can see there, I've got current on the left, and I've got what we're planning on the right.
Yes.
Care to talk to us a little bit about what the current end game is like?
I will somewhat read off the screen.
That's fine.
As we go through it. Yeah. So as it stands now, we've got they're called end game crises, but I don't think they really satisfied what we wanted them to do, which is ultimately the problem. And as per the list, most of the time they just spawned a bunch of armies, and they didn't really change up the gameplay that we wanted to. We wanted it to be a big moment where, there is a threat, there is something that's coming in, not just like, here's 10 armies.
Yeah.
And obviously, 10 armies is a threat, but it's not necessarily interesting. It doesn't change the mechanics. So what we're looking to do now is when we hit these specific new end games, one is technically an evolution because Vermintide's already in the game, but we'll be having the new Vermintide. We've got the Chaos Invasion and Nagash turning up. There will be a foreshadowing moment of, by the way, it's this end game.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware who's going to come and ruin your day.
Yeah.
And then when the actual event starts, we will have a nice little moment of a cinematic as you come in and you go, oh no, who is the big bad?
Yep.
It'll come out and we will see what this is actually going to do to your campaign experience, where they have some bespoke mechanics, which we'll maybe see in a second.
Yep.
But yeah, the big thing is the old one also was like standard campaign AI. Everything was shared because it was quite a generic formula. When we made it, we thought, this is a great idea. It'll be like quite templateable. We can reuse it.
Yeah.
And in practice, what that meant was, this is bland. We probably should have done more. And now we are going, let's do more. So all of them are bespoke in some way, and there's a bit more effort put in.
So, go ahead.
The old ones will still exist, but we're going to be calling those crisis events now. Mm-hmm. So these are the big end game scenarios.
Yep.
So just to set the scene, as Sean said, these ones are really here to impact your experience to quite a level.
Yeah.
So is the intent? So would you have both a crisis event and an endgame event during your campaign?
If you so choose.
Okay.
I mean, the crisis events are very much like, in the mid game, someone gets a power bump. That's effectively how it works right now. The dwarves, they've got a big power bump, but it hasn't actually changed your campaign playout a great degree, other than one of the factions are supercharged now. These end games are supposed to be actually changing the way the campaign is going to play, and how the other AI interact with you. When Archeon turns up, everyone's probably going to universally agree, maybe we chill a bit until he's gone.
Maybe not Archeon.
Yeah, well, no, maybe he's got his own stuff going on, but all the non-Chaos factions will probably agree maybe there's bigger problems on the horizon.
Yeah.
But yeah, the crisis events can still happen, but they aren't the big moment. The end game scenarios are the big moments.
Yep. And one of the things that we'll call out there, so what we're going to do is we're going to dive into just a couple of very work in progress, in development screenshots of Archeon's endgame event, but very difficulty curves. So the three endgame events, they're spiking at different times, or?
Yeah, so the Archeon one is very much, at the get-go, don't mess with Archeon. He's going to come in with a unified chaos, and for all of this giant unified form of chaos and all of the different pieces of the mechanic you'll probably get a glimpse at in a second, he is effectively, not literally, but effectively untouchable. Like, he is so amped to the nines, don't try it. The gameplay goal there is weaken his forces, weaken the United Chaos, and then eventually take him on.
Let's go to our next screenshot.
I'm spoiling it all.
I will give a public apology. That says patch 9.0. It's meant to say update 9.0. I've not used our correct terminology. So everyone pretend that says update. Well, shall we talk about Archeon's endgame event?
Yeah, why not?
People seem pretty excited by these updates. So let's show them a little bit of what they'd get to experience. So when does this pop up?
So we've got our foreshadowing moment of, where's Archeon gone? That's suspicious. And then about 10 turns later, we'll have on the start of the turn, we'll have the nice, if you remember back to Warhammer 1 when we had the Chaos Invasion cinematic.
Yep.
It's effectively in that vein of setting the tone that things are going to get bad.
Yep.
And then when you come out, you'll get this, and this will give you an explanation of what is the theme, who is the trouble, how do you stop it?
And he's trouble.
Yeah. So a couple of his mechanics are on there at the moment. So we're starting with a very high ward save, which I think you'd hinted at.
Yeah,
So
don't try it.
So don't immediately go and take Archeon.
Yeah. I mean, you can. I wouldn't personally.
We look forward to the challenge videos. Someone
All
asking
right.
then, where will Archeon be on the map?
My head's not
if
quite in the
you're
right
playing
spot.
as him?
So because all of this is development in progress, that is actually one of the things that we're still tweaking. But generally, we're trying to get him and his friends, the friends of Chaos, to be close enough to you that it's relevant. We don't want it to be you're in Lustria.
Yeah, well, I'll get. It looks like we've got some moderate. We've got some moderate support for Bannerlord. At least
fine-tuning.
At least 11 people want to see some Bannerlord. 11. Oh, yeah, 11 people's enough for a stream. All right. Well, I'm pretty pumped now because of all this Third of War announcements and stuff. So I'm pretty awake. So yeah, I'll probably stream for at least another couple of hours. We'll do a couple of hours of Bannerlord.
The other two may have similarities,
or maybe I'll
but
just
overall are a different experience.
play until I have to start work.
There
We'll
are
see how we go.
similarities in terms of what the goal might be or how you might counter something, but the actual mechanic itself is very unique.
Yep. So I think we actually have a screenshot of I let it happen.
I'll set up a new stream here.
And
everyone who's not interested in Bannerlord, thanks for joining us for the watch along. Very exciting Warhammer stuff. I'm actually really looking forward to the 8.1 update next week. They said it's coming next week with AI enhancements for the campaign. So yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. Looking forward to that. You'd have to, actually, that's a good point. What campaign are we going to do? I might try and get one or two more episodes of Chaos Boris in before that, if possible. But yeah, we'll probably start a new campaign for 8.1, so we can try out the new AI on a fresh start. Because when they do a with the campaign AI change, especially, I think it's going to change the way the campaign develops. So you don't necessarily want to just switch over halfway through a campaign because you're probably not going to really get the full effect of it. You really need to see it from the start of a new fresh campaign. So yeah, we'll have to start a new campaign. Maybe Karl Franz. I feel like every time a new major update comes out, you've got to do another Karl Franz campaign. To
there's a new piece of music
because he's like Karl Franz is like the baseline,
mood change because as it happens,
so yeah, maybe we'll start a new Karl Franz campaign. I don't know if we need a special theme or if we could just play like classic unite the Empire without Confederation, the way that I like to play Karl Franz.
Be careful.
It sounds pretty good.
It does.
All right, I'm
We're
gonna
saying there's going to be two more kind of variants of that.
Yeah, actually, well, the next campaign I was planning on playing was Astrogoth allied with Tamakan. Just focus completely on the Tamakan alliance early.
And then take him back to his final stand.
Which is pretty. I quite often do try to ally with Archeon with Tamakan, but I don't necessarily beeline for him.
There are other ways to reduce save.
But yeah, that could be good.
Again, work in progress. All of this could change, but right now it's.
I think there's a way of early. I think there's a way of getting.
Yeah, can you grab me the remote and can you grab me the mouse? Yeah, thank you very much.
Is there a way of allying Arbal really early as well?
Yeah, so you can.
I don't know. Maybe we'll have to think about that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm tossing up between. Curious with Glottenwell Spawn. Yeah, I'm not sure. You're not sure.
Which is why it sounds a bit of a.
I'm kind of hoping it's somewhere near the Empire because I always like to kind of invade the Empire. I hope they don't stick him in like Cathay or somewhere.
Is we designate a part of the world where the
but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I guess.
The realm of chaos and the mortal world as being weakened at a portal.
But
danger point
yeah, I was tossing up whether to play either Astrogoth combined allies with Tamakan or classic Karl Franz. Or I could my other like classic campaign is Vlad. So yeah. Anyway, we'll wrap up this Warhammer stream. Thanks everyone for joining us for the Warhammer stream. Appreciate you all.
Archeon's had.
We'll we'll wrap this up now, and
let me get
into some get into some Bannerlord and Banterlard. Just gonna set up. All right, so we're back in the Warhammer world, but this time in Bannerlord version of the Warhammer world. Amazing mod called the Old Realms. Definitely check it out if you like Bannerlord and you like Warhammer, which I assume everybody here does. Just close off the old stream.